Well, I thought I had it. I pledge allegiance to the Do we have anybody in Visitor Citizens Forum? Thank you. Okay, we have Mary Ramirez.
Hi, Mary Ramirez, and I was here last time when we were on the planning, the rezoning, and I want to thank y'all because I think it will be a great thing if it happens for that part of town anyway. But I wanted to clarify a couple of things, and I don't know if you can hear this. I got the meetings from the first Planning and Zoning Committee meeting that they had regarding that. So I don't know if you can hear this.
She called me and I said if I need to say anything, I would. Debbie just said nothing would really change with her property right now. It's just after Tito passing away, she's got to get out of there. And in order for her to sell that property, it needs to be, it's always been used as commercial, but it needs to be turned into commercial.
Can you paraphrase perhaps? We can't hear that.
Yeah, it was just at the last meeting when I came up and I told you the reason I had brought the petition, because some of the neighbors didn't know what was going to happen to the, to the area there. And the first meeting, when they brought it up, she did say that Miss Killiam was going to sell the property. And, that's when, well, we didn't know what was going to happen there. And so she was there. And then the last meeting, when y'all did approve it, after I mentioned that, the reason why we were doing it, she did mention that she was not at that meeting, that her husband was there in her place, and that she had not said that. So that put me in a bad situation because y'all don't know me. And I didn't know if y'all took it as I lied when she said that. She didn't say that and she wasn't there at that meeting. So I just wanted to clarify that I had told the truth at that point. And that's the only, thing. And I do know some of the city personnel were there, and I think Corey Thompson. And I don't believe Miss Randall was there at that first one, so it just makes me feel better knowing that y'all know.
Okay.
What I said was.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad everything worked out for both parties.
All right. Thank you.
I really appreciate your tactful and respectful manner of clearing the record.
Okay. Jerry Beck.
I know you can't interact, and I got 3 minutes, right?
Give or take.
Give or take, okay.
Yeah, we don't have a long list.
There's a couple of things I want to address tonight, and one of them is when the city has a chance to appoint someone to the appraisal board, I'd like to officially let you know that I'd sure like to be on there. Do I need to back up?
No, just got to turn that speaker a little bit in front of Simon.
No, whatever. Anyhow, when the vacancy does come up, or when it does come time to vote on the person on that board, I would like to be considered for the seat on the appraisal board. I have a lot of questions, and some of them they don't want to answer. And I think maybe they'll listen to someone if they're sitting there on the board forcing an answer out of them. Another thing, and I'll be quick about it, we have been needing sidewalks on the north side of 173 from Mark Kids all the way to the high school for as long as I can remember. And while I was in office, I attempted to help by doing most of the grunt work for the city, but we never could get together. And I believe there's a whole pot full of money you can dig into to get that done if you can contact the right people. and I wouldn't mind doing that for you either. And another thing, we need to change the name of Hondo Street. Thank you very much.
Recommending Beck Street.
There you go. All right, thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. All right, we have anything in public recognition?
I want to thank the Devine Police for getting after the speeders. They've really gone above and beyond. And I've noticed a noticeable difference in folks flying through the neighborhoods. Haven't completely eradicated, but a noticeable improvement.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Employee recognition, Dora? Nothing? Okay, nothing on there. Okay. Item 6, consider approval of council minutes, regular council meeting minutes from May the 16th, 2023.
I didn't see any errors.
Nor did I.
Same.
Okay. Nor did I. I thought it was
I'll
well
make a
written.
motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from May the 16th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes accepted. Item 7, consider and act upon a request from Joe Munoz for renewal of mowing contract for Devine Municipal Airport 2023. And I believe you all would have that in your packet. And I think the difference being, he's asking for a small increase, and the difference being because there's a little bit more that he would have to maintain behind hangar 10, I believe. So. Hi, Joe. Go right ahead, sir.
No, I just got up, if you have any questions on the contract or anything like that, I'm here to answer whatever you need.
Can I ask,
Oh, go ahead, Judge.
can I ask why you waited until the contract expired to seek renewal?
Because we always set it up for this month. And I put it in last month, but they set it to this meeting. So that,
Do it in June, I mean, you can do it sooner.
yeah.
Okay, just that way you don't have a lapse if there's negotiation or anything like that.
Yeah, but it was submitted last month. They just put it on this.
Was it us or you that requested the takeover of the ramps by Hangar 10?
Well, it's, since y'all got that property back, the previous lease would have to maintain that. So since y'all own that now, that's part of.
Oh, so
addition
city
to the-
property,
yes.
okay. Okay, yeah, I thought there was the next person that leases it would be
Yeah, no.
taking care of that.
No, next person would be the building because y'all are going to keep the property.
Okay.
And then for everyone concerned, I believe, Joe, that you use all of your own equipment on this. You use your own gas, your own chemicals, and so forth. Okay.
18,000.
18,000 just seems like a lot.
It's what we've been paying.
I know.
How many acres is that airport?
Yeah, and sometimes we mow it like 5-6 times a month.
65 acres of that gets mowed, or just total?
Still.
And how often a month do you mow it during the growing season? How often a month is it mowed during the mowing season?
This past month, we probably mowed it like 5 times because of the rain, and then but then we maintain, we keep the fence line clean, we keep, any trash or anything that blows on there, we keep it all clean. We'd eat, clean the thing year round, so.
I'd like to see if we could amend this contract to number of times mowed, because this year we'd probably end up paying you more versus last year. There's not a whole lot of mowing to be done. We don't get rain for a year. You track what I'm saying?
Still has to be cleaned.
Not really, it's just because the guy that, I use one of my employees, and as soon as I see something coming up or something, they just get on the tractor, he takes care of it. I got one guy that does that all day, every day. He'll weed eat around buildings, he'll weed, the fence line, clean everything up. So it's pretty much an everyday thing, but it's not always mowing, it's weed eating, spraying, or whatever it is, And if you sit and break it down like that, well, you know, it's kind of hard to, so that's the reason we had set it up where it's just that price, and y'all don't have to worry about nothing the whole year, because we take care of the whole thing.
How many employees do you have?
I'm sorry?
How many employees do you have?
For the mowing, I got one guy, but for my business, I got about 7.
None of the 7 maintain, or just that
No,
one
I got
guy?
that one guy that maintains, and sometimes I'll get in there and do, back them up whenever there's more to be done.
I know we had started this with Joe. I didn't realize it was 2018. I was thinking it was like 2 years ago. Because Public Works can't get out there every week to do it. And what we would pay a salary of a Public Works, this is less.
Oh, I'm fully in favor of shopping it out. I guess my concern here is, have we ever put this out for bids? That's just, I appreciate having you do it because you work there and you do want it to look good, but have we ever put this out for bids? Anyone?
No.
Could we?
Yes.
If you put it out for bid, what would you do in the meantime?
Right.
Pay a per week basis? I just want to make sure we're getting the most competitive rate. And in that contract, Tom, I'd ask you to write up a contract then that has some performance metrics, so that if someone fails to do it, we can cut them. And then we do know for sure we have Joe who would be happy to take over the contract, and just would like to see if we can get a more competitive rate.
Dora, have we ever had a complaint that it hasn't been done since Joe took it over?
No.
Okay, remember the agenda item reads to act upon his request for renewal.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and give Joe the contract for another year at the 19,200. Is that what was?
Yes, ma'am, 19,200,
Yeah.
which is it's an additional $1,200 for the year
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
last year.
Additional.
Which is $100 a month
Right.
for 12
Yeah.
for the year. So it's just adding $100 for that other section that was there.
Okay, all right, we have a motion to continue with Joe Munoz on the renewal of his mowing and maintenance contract at the airport.
I second.
We have a second, a flipper. Any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, the ayes have it. Josh opposes. Okay. Moving on. Item number 8, which is one that I asked for. Okay, consider and act upon airport status. Okay, Hap is here. All right. At the last meeting, if you'll recall, we were approached about leasing out Hangar 10, which is the very large hangar at the airport. It's the largest hangar that we have. Just to bring people up to snuff and may not know, our city purchased several hangars at the airport recently, and 3 especially that are kind of involved at this moment. And we're talking about hangar number 10, which is extremely large. The square footage on the bottom alone is 17,500 square feet. The purchase was finalized on March the 9th, where the city could actually start doing something with it, okay? The city also, FYI, the city paid $680,000 for hangar number 10, and for hangars 8 and 8A, the city paid $165,000. So that's approximately $850,000 we have in those 3 hangars. We had a proposal last month for someone to lease hangar number 10, and we tabled that until this meeting. However, I decided to put it on the agenda more broadly because in the meantime, we asked our Airport Advisory Board to weigh in on their opinion and recommendations. Real quick, the appraisal that we got, which determined the price that we paid for those hangars, now this went back to last October or so, okay? The appraisal that was used to determine the value of those hangars, which we had to pay, One part of it said that hangar 10 could be should be leased at 40 cents a square foot. Okay, that was in the official appraisal that we based it on, and the value was based upon that. So that would be the return of approximately $7,000 a month, based only on the floor square footage. There's also a loft and other stuff in there. Now also, the hangar is not in the world's best condition, but it would have been that way also when it was appraised. So all that was included in that appraisal. Okay, we were offered between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, which would include utilities also, which factors in the 5.8 cents a square foot. However, the offer also included approximately $14,000 worth of improvements, but those improvements would clearly be for the person who was interested in leasing the hangar. Okay, so therefore I asked that we involve the airport board in, and the airport board met last Monday. Okay, and I think it's a great thing that we did, asking for their input. Had some great ideas, some great insights, and some great background on everything that's gone on at our airport over the years. So with that being said, we have Hap Squires, who's the chairman of the Airport Advisory Board. He can relate to us our recommendations and some other things. Welcome to ask questions and so forth, but he will let us know what his recommendations are.
Good afternoon. As Butch said last Monday on the 12th, at the city's request, we had an airport advisory meeting specifically to address a couple proposals we had for leases, and as we got into the discussion, it became pretty obvious that we couldn't make those kind of decisions until we really had some input as to what's the best use for the airport and best use for these hangars. And Vicki, the airport manager, suggested that we get TxDOT involved, and she was able to get them to come down here and visit with us. Our meeting's scheduled for July 12th, and what we're hoping for from them is to look at the whole airport and say, okay, you know, how best can we utilize what we've got, especially now that the city owns the majority of the hangars and has, you know, pretty much control over how it would be. And then also, hangar number 10 is certainly the largest hangar on the airport, and obviously the most expensive hangar we've got. And we're looking for some suggestions. Hangar 10 is set up in such a way that it can be divided into at least 4 different sections, maybe even more, and so we could have 4 or 5 different tenants. I hope that after the July 12th meeting, we should have some concrete recommendations to the city.
Very good. So anyway, the meeting's set up for July the 12th. Just to further expand upon that, TxDOT apparently is very eager to work with cities that have these small airports and help them market them and do the right thing and so forth. So we have a extremely large investment there. So in my opinion, we need to proceed accordingly to try and get the best return possible for our investment. Clearly, it might mean waiting another month or so, but it would seem that all things considered, we should come out better in the long run. So, any questions, guys?
I'm sorry, who was it that you said we have the meeting with on July 12th?
Yeah, it's Texas Department of Transportation, and they're in charge of, among other things, the airports in Texas. And Vicki's worked very closely with them in the past and has found them to be, you know, very cooperative and helpful.
They're willing to come in, and anybody that wants to attend the meeting. Sorry. They're willing to come in and talk to anybody that has time. It'll be 2 to 4, 2 hours. They'll be happy to go through everything, do airport one-on-one with everybody, and bring up some issues that they have currently that they see that we might be lacking in everything. So.
Good. We'll see you next month.
There you go. All right. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Also, I'd like to relay a little bit more information with regards to airports because we also gathered some facts At that same meeting, it was mentioned that Hondo has an airport, and they lease a hangar that's 13,000 square feet at 22.5 cents, and it has air conditioning space. So that amounts to $29.25 a month. The Rockport Airport, a town similar to us in size, I guess, although it's down on the coast, 12,000 square feet at 17 cents a square foot, which is just over $2,000. Then they also have an additional 2,500 square feet of ACE air conditioning space at 40 cents a square foot, which would be $1,000 additional a month. Each of these tenants pays its own utilities and its own property insurance for liability. So those are things that also need to be considered. And FYI, most small cities in Texas do not own their own airports per se. Like, they don't own all the hangars. They own the land underneath them. And believe it or not, only 10 small town airports are self-sustaining. So it's not unique to Devine. It's all over Texas, but TxDOT has an aviation division that are very eager to have these airports all connected and to work with them. So that's why we were able to get them to come down here on July the 12th. Any further questions? All right. No action taken on agenda item 7. Wait, agenda item 8. Okay. Item number 9, consider and act upon proposed budget for 2024 for the Medina County Appraisal District approved by the Board of Directors. And I believe we have John Ed Dixon here to speak to us. See if I can make this thing work here. Here we go. Thank you.
Okay, on there I put the 2023 preliminary net taxable value that we sent out at the end of April was $309,359,612. Last year, your certified total was $276,979,478, which shows an increase in value for $32,381,34. And if you multiply that by the current tax rate, it generates an additional $159,000 in revenue. Of the $32 million, $2,519,660 are new improvements that have been brought to the city. Our 2024 preliminary budget total is $1,585,200. Our final budget last year was $1,559,155, which is an increase of $26,000. Of the $26,000, $15,000 of that is just for the appraisal review board. In the last few years, we've had to have more hearings. This year, we right now have 4,500 protests. Last year, we had right at 4,000. So we're having to have our A or B longer than we've ever had to have it in the past. Your 2024 pro rata share is $22,810.05. In 23, it was $21,873.46, which is an increase of $963.59. So of the $159,000, we're asking for $936 more to run our budget.
From what I understand, the entire appraisal process is very opaque, and any disagreement with the board is met with some rather subjective opinions in response. How can we drive through this process more transparency and more objective standards in the appraisal properties?
What do you mean by more transparency?
How the appraisals actually happen. Because I personally know folks with just pure brushland, and the comps are hayfield or open land with road access. I know other folks with houses, they're looking at comps in the same neighborhood, nowhere near the same value as what the appraisal district is using. So step one right there. And the other part is through the appraisal process, the disagreement process there. How do we help folks better understand in an info sheet if it needs to be. This is the process you go through. These are the standards we're expecting you to meet. That way they can come a little more prepared, because I've seen folks go to those meetings with everything from pictures to a story to comps and the whole shebang.
Excuse me.
The best thing is comps. If you can find comps in your neighborhood, because that's what we do. We first look in the neighborhood. If we have comps, we will use those. We try to get as close to the subject as we can with our comps. From that point, if there aren't any in that subdivision directly, then we can expand out to the school district. And we'll try to get as much as like property as possible. Our software will take the subject, kind of like a fee appraisal. It takes the subject and it'll take the comps and it adjusts each of the comps to match your subject. Like if there's a little bit of square footage difference, it'll adjust for the square footage difference. And it'll adjust that comp to match the subject. And then comes up with a median value. And then we should be at 100% of that median value. Sometimes we're above it, sometimes we're below it, and the board will act with the evidence we bring. Same thing with the taxpayers. If they come in and they bring properties that they know of that have sold in their neighborhood that we may not have the sales on, then they can bring that, present that to the board. They'll take all of that into consideration. If there's damage to the properties, if they bring those pictures, that will help, because we can't get inside. We don't see anything on the interior. And so I have seen where they brought, it's got cracked sheetrock, rotten wood, stuff like that, and the appraisal review board will look at that and adjust it from that. And if they even let us know that and send us pictures, as soon as they get their appraisal notice, if they'll contact us and tell us, hey, I've got foundation issues, I've got an estimate for $20,000, bring it in, and there's a chance that we can lower that value $20,000. We just don't see everything because we measure from the outside.
Right. But essentially what I'm requesting is on your website, put somewhere to document all the things you just outlined, because it's not real clear to a lot of folks that are going to those meetings.
Okay, I can get something out there that'll give them steps or suggestions. There should be a section in there that tells you how to protest your property.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a little bit of that, but nothing to the level of detail you just gave me.
Okay, we can get something like that together.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we can do that. I can put something together and try to get it on there.
I'm curious myself, so how do you adjust, like, say you have a neighborhood, okay, mine would be one, where somebody comes in and pays an incredible amount of money for a property. Is that where the median value comes in? Because the median is still going to raise the median value if they pay $280,000 for something that should be $180,000. I mean, and it's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So how is that adjusted for the person's lived there for 35 years?
If one property, we won't. We just start collecting evidence. Now, when 3 or 4 in that neighborhood sell for $250,000, $280,000, then we have to start looking at it and seeing, okay, we've got to do something with that neighborhood, because the state's going to come in and they're going to look at those 3 sales and they're going to put those properties at that price. I go in and I do mass appraisal. And if I'm not at 100% or 95 to 105 of what the state says the properties are worth, that's where we have the funding loss at the schools.
Have you had a lot of issues with that by any chance? So it's going on all over the county. So.
Yes, it's hard to keep up with the market. We are seeing a slowdown where now people are paying more asking price than having the bidding wars that they had the last year. We're seeing them pay more asking price. We're seeing properties stay on the market longer. We have seen a dip in some of the properties, so we're hoping there's going to be a little bit of relief to where we're not seeing 20% increase in value year after year.
Yeah, that would be nice. So
That'd be nice for me too.
So what was our overall increase? Approximately 20-some percent.
At this point.
Percent. Okay, percentage-wise, that would be approximately 10. I guess it's around. See, you got. Okay. Well, it looks to be from here. Let's see, from 276 million to 309. So 10% would be 27,000 a year. So it looks to be about 12% on this. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Is there anything that we could do for the citizens who are not computer, for the older generation, let's say the older generation, over 70, 65, let's put it that way. That's where the budget, that's where the age limit is, correct? 65 years old? Because I've been getting a lot of, county?
Yeah, the county recently passed that as far as county taxes.
County taxes.
Okay, they're frozen at the existing amount if you're 65 and over right now.
Yeah.
That's just county.
But there's a lot of citizens here in
That's not
Devine
school, that's not,
that don't have access to computer systems or anything like that to be educated to save on their taxes, to stop the tax increase. So is there anything like maybe the library can put up to help the older,
well, they're,
or something that we could do, or?
yeah, that's a great question. I would assume there's probably something out there that can help educate people. But however, our agenda item is to approve the increase that the appraisal board is asking for, and so every city in the county is paying something very similar. Okay, the same. Everybody's paying its own share. So this year it costs us another $936 to fund the appraisal district.
For the share increase.
So, which is appraising our property that we tax on, and so forth. Thanks. So,
Make a motion, we accept.
we have a motion to accept the increase with the appraisal district.
Second.
We have a second. Josh and Stacy. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, that was a motion to approve the budget.
Yes. Yeah, right, to approve the new budget for the appraisal district. Okay, we had 3 ayes, which would be Mike, Stacy, and Josh. 2 nays, Flipper and Debbie. Motion carries 3-2. Thanks, Johnette.
Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir, and I will work on something again.
Thank you.
Okay. Consider and act upon council appointments. Dora, do you want to preface that? Should I?
I know that the council has done it different ways in the past. Y'all can do the whole thing, or y'all can do individually. Go just down and do individually. It's however y'all want. It's been done so many different ways, so.
Well, we do have 2 vacancies, do we not?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all want to start with like at the top and say, you know what, let's go with the city attorney first, and then, take action on that. Go down and then do the judge, just keep on going, and then that's when you're gonna get to your vacancies.
And
Top on chop block.
would we need a motion on each category?
That's if y'all want to do it that way, or in the past, council had said, does anybody have any, you go over the appointments of the vacancies and stuff, and then just do it as all, that's y'all's call on how y'all want to do it.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do, then we'll go per category as listed. Does everybody have it in front of them?
Yep.
Okay, and then planning and zoning and the airport advisory board will have vacancies that need to be replaced. So let's work on those that do not have vacancies. That's all right. So we'll start at the city attorney. Current city attorney is the law office of Thomas Kate. Vital.
I'm clear reading this regulation, every appointment we make, they're in place for 2 years.
Yeah, they run concurrent with the mayor's race, yes.
Need to make a motion.
You have to make a motion for
She
each
said we need a
separate
motion
one.
for each category.
I'll make a motion that we, I guess, elect or
Just,
keep Tommy Kate as our city
Appoint.
attorney for appoint, thank you.
Yeah.
It just went out of my head. Appoint Tom Kate as our city attorney for 2 more years.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to keep Tom Kate and appoint him as city attorney for 2 more years. Flipper. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. City judge and warden?
Make a motion we made. Or is there anyone here who's volunteering for any of these boards?
Yes. That's why I say if we
Okay.
just get through the ones without vacancies and then we'll come back. If we didn't have any vacancies, I would say the whole list.
Okay. Is there anyone here for judge?
No, she's not. She
Then I make a motion we maintain Ann Morton as judge.
Second.
Motion is second, Josh and Flipper on the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Alternate judges, Joseph Apel and Bill Sherhart.
Does Judge Sherhart still say he would?
As far as I know,
I'm just asking.
as an alternate,
Yeah, as an alternate.
Billy serves as JP over in Castroville also, so.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I don't want us to be putting somebody on it that doesn't want it, so. Or can't do it, either way. I'll make the motion that we appoint, I can't even read, Joseph Appel and Bill Sherhart for alternate judge for 2 years.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to renew Joseph Apel and Bill Sherhart as alternate judges. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All unanimous. Prosecutor, Bobby Jack Rushing.
I'll make the motion that we appoint Bobby Jack Rushing as our prosecutor for 2 years.
Second.
Motion by Debbie, seconded by Josh to renew Bobby Jack Rushing for 2 more years. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Has anyone requested to be on any of these boards that is not present? No?
Well, actually, is it Brian here?
I don't want to miss some folks that might be interested in.
Brian's not here, correct?
No.
Okay, well, the two that I will nominate, are not here, but,
Okay.
but they have accepted the nomination from me. They said they will take it. Okay, Library Board, currently serving on the Library Board, we have Grace Desi McKelvey, Hap Squires, Kelly Maxwell, Lee Davis, and Marley Davis.
I'll make a motion to accept.
A second.
I'm sorry, but you can make it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we have the motion. You can still ask.
The last three, Kelly, Lee, and Marley, they're the only ones we're appointing today, correct? Because the other two are
Is it
just
staggered?
next year.
It is staggered, yes.
Okay,
Just the last three, Mayor.
okay, it is the last read.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so we don't undo.
Yeah, she just said a while ago that was all of them for 2 years, but it is staggered. And,
Good catch.
so anyway,
I
yeah.
was worried.
Okay, change that, right? The current members up for a renewal on the Library Board, Kelly Maxwell, Lee Davis, and Marley Davis. So,
I'll make a motion to accept.
okay.
A second.
Motion by Stacy, second by Flipper. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, unanimous. And is the P and Z the same way?
Yes,
It
you're gonna
looks like
have
it.
all the ones.
Okay, they're renewing ones for this term?
It's gonna be,
Scott Herring,
Doug, Onus, and Chuck.
and then the last one.
The first 4.
First three.
First three.
The middle three, 522, Mayor.
where it has 522 on it, the terms.
Oh, I see it now, okay.
Yeah, and so Kyle's on that one as well.
So
And we
Okay.
just did Scott, so,
Right,
we're just
okay.
doing Doug, Onus, and Chuck, right?
yes.
And
Okay,
Okay, all right, the 3 up for renewal right now are Doug Wilkins, Onus Weimers, and Chuck Guzman,
do you have any?
correct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Doug, Onus, and Chuck for 2 years.
A
Motion
second.
by Debbie. Second by Flipper. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. 4 ayes, 1 nay by Josh. Okay. Okay, while we're on the planning and zoning, Kyle Bain has stepped down from his position, which actually would renew next year. So I'm nominating Mr. Fred Morales. Fred lives here. I think everybody probably knows him, local businessman. And so that would be my nomination to replace Kyle Bain.
Second your motion, or do I?
No, somebody needs to make that motion.
I make the motion that Fred Morales be considered for appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission in place of Kyle Bowman.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the nomination of Fred Morales. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And then, of course, Fred's term would be for the remaining 1 year. Okay? That would complete planning and zoning as far as renewals and appointments. Consultants and advisors. Langford Community Management Service.
How would you rate their effectiveness, Dora?
I'm sorry,
How would you rate their effectiveness?
Langford,
Yeah.
out of all the years, they've always helped us with all the CDBG, the home program, any other grants. They're, we work well with them.
Best one you found? Okay.
Aren't these all, we take them on and give them projects? I mean, we don't, it's not like today we're appointing them as our forever or 2-year consultants. We do that each project, correct? For each grant, for each, like Samco for whatever financial thing.
Depends
Garcia and
upon-
Wright, he is our, Garcia and Wright, I guess, even would be considered that way.
It depends on the grant.
It depends upon the terms of the grant, Debbie.
Yeah, I understand, but don't we normally do it that way
Yes.
anyway? Because even
Most
JR,
grants-
we would do it as per project.
Yes. I
Okay,
mean, sometimes, on the grant, they require us to go out for proposals, request for qualifications on the engineers. The
Right.
grants require us to do
Yeah.
that. And then a lot of time, the only person that applies is Garcia and Wright.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. I just want to make sure we don't really have to appoint. Do we really have to appoint them tonight,
Well,
or?
we have other projects that are not tied into grants, so
Yes.
yes, this way we can consult with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
just
they're
wanted to
helping
make
us
sure.
with generators,
Okay, yeah.
so that are not a grant.
Not a good catch, Debbie.
Well, I just want to make sure, because I wasn't,
So they can be subject to termination at any time also?
Yes.
I guess anybody can be.
Yes.
But, okay. All right.
well, then I'll make the motion that we appoint Langford Community Management Services, Samco Capital Markets, and Garcia and Wright as our engineers.
Second.
They're engineers, financial and whatever.
Motion by Debbie, second by Flipper. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? The ayes have it. We'll just go down this. Airport Advisory, okay, we also have, all of these are up right now. Okay, so the Airport Advisory is not staggered.
No.
Okay, so Tony Crosby has stepped down, and so we have a vacancy there, and I would like to nominate, it's actually his son, Tony Crosby. I'm sorry, Brian Crosby. He was also recommended by our advisory board. Brian, in the past, has served on the advisory board in Bishop, Texas. He's a certified airplane mechanic, and he also inspects airplane mechanics. He's certified for that. He managed an airport. He has airport manager experience in San Antonio, owns 2 planes, helicopter and a gyroplane, and he has also owned numerous residential and commercial properties. So I feel like he's extremely qualified to replace his wife.
Was that the gentleman in the front left corner at the airport supervisor meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very noticeable, yeah.
Would this be the time we talk about the manager of the airport too?
Yes, ma'am?
I would like us to go out to bid to find a new airport manager.
Okay?
Just because.
Okay, well then,
Like a good bid.
Well, we need to advertise for the position, like we do on LinkedIn and TML or wherever.
okay, well then let's go ahead and,
Because I don't think or just leave her off the board for right now.
well, she would have to be, I mean, if nobody makes a motion, and what have you, she wouldn't be approved at the moment, but, okay, how about,
I'll make a motion, we accept Brian Crosby in place of Tony Crosby on the airport advisory board from 2023 to 2025.
okay. We have a motion to accept Brian Crosby to replace his
I'll
father,
second
Tony.
that.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous ayes. Okay.
I was going to say, Mayor, the agenda item is the airport advisory board. It's not the airport manager.
She's on the board.
But she's
Yes,
on the
she is
board.
on the board.
So when we
But her
replace the
position is
manager.
airport manager. It's not
Oh.
a position.
Okay.
It'd be removing the
So I
manager
guess
from
I
the
have to
board.
do that on a different meeting now.
Yes,
Another
ma'am.
agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But you can, like I said, we're just discussing the actual board appointment. So if there's someone you would not like to see on the board, then you can make a motion to not remove them.
I guess I should have sent the agenda request. I thought we could do it here, but that's okay.
All right, okay. Okay, well, we have, the remaining members to approve or disapprove.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Okay, motion to accept.
Second.
Remaining members, and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All opposed. None opposed. Emergency Management Coordinator, Lieutenant Chris Andrews. I know that Chris has the certifications that are required, that are needed, according to Dora. Dora, you have anything to expand upon that since you work with Chris closely?
I know that he used to help Rob when Rob did the emergency management. I know he took another class when Rob retired, and to get a certification he did not have, but he has the rest of the certification. He has stepped up to help us out. He's just helping us. He knew that it was going to be coming, so it's up to council, but he is willing to do it if council wants him to do it.
And of course, Rob has been with the city for, gosh, how long, boy, would you say? 25?
27 years, something.
27 years. He's been with us a long time.
I'll make the motion. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
Make a motion, we accept Chris.
I'll second.
Motion by Josh, second by Debbie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
You realize if he doesn't want this, he will be watching you.
I believe he's already accepted.
It was a joke, Chris, if you're listening.
That's it. Okay, so on the Parks and Rec Board, we have 4 to renew. One was just recently appointed, that would be Sarah Espinosa. So the 4 to renew on the Parks and Rec Board, Steve Lopez, Margaret Reedy, Nick West, and Sandy Herrera.
They're all good until next week.
Oh, there you go, 10/22, 10/24. Okay, got it.
Do we
Okay, well,
need
that
to
completes
approve-
that list.
Do we need to approve Sarah since she was just appointed?
No, we approved her the last meeting.
Okay, so we're good then. Well, it
2
says,
meetings ago.
well, it says May 23, so
Well, that completes that
Just
list.
made it for one thing.
just making sure.
That completes that list, correct? All right. Moving
Can I
on.
ask a question about
Oh, yes,
this
ma'am.
really quickly?
Go ahead.
So, with most of these boards, I think with the exception of the library board, that was the only one that was staggered for 3. Is there a reason for that? Is that something that we need to change with our other boards as well?
Well, the library and planning and zoning are staggered. I guess the others
Okay.
aren't, huh?
No, they're not that I mean, the one we just did, everybody is approved until 2024, as well as the airport advisory board.
It's just the way that the ordinances were drawn up.
Okay.
Some of the ordinances provide for staggered terms, which personally I like.
Yes.
To have some
Yes.
continuity on there. And the planning and zoning by statute, that's staggered.
Okay.
So, but it's just up to the council on the other ones.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No question? No. All right, item 11, consider and act upon selecting a mayor pro tem. So, as you all know, David was the previous mayor pro tem, and he stepped down. So, and FYI, the mayor pro tem essentially takes the place when the mayor is absent. Perhaps will run the meeting or anything else that may come across if the mayor is unavailable.
I'll nominate Flipper. Huh?
Okay. Michael's nominated Flipper.
I nominate Debbie.
Okay, we have 2 nominations, Flipper and Debbie. Any other nominations?
It's going around, huh? I nominate Debbie.
What's that?
I nominate Debbie.
Stacy, do you have a nomination?
No.
Debbie, do you have a nomination?
No. I could, but no. We've always done it by seniority
By
on
seniority, yeah,
council, so.
that's why.
I think you know the Robert's Rules of Order the best.
So who's been on the, you've been on it longest? Debbie has?
That was you, yeah.
Yeah, her and then me.
Yeah, and Flipper's like 3 or 4 months behind me.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we have a nomination for Flipper. Okay, that would be, so you need a motion on that, or just a plain nomination? Yeah, yeah. Do we have a second on the nomination for Flipper to be Mayor Pro Tem? We do not. Motion dies. We have a second motion to nominate Debbie.
I think Flipper was the second for Debbie.
Huh?
Was Flipper not the second for Debbie?
It's Debbie.
Oh, well, then we also have a second. Well, I'm trying to do it in order to make sure we keep things
I
in
appreciate
line
your,
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh made the motion, Flipper seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Congratulations, Debbie. Debbie is the new Mayor Pro Tem. All right. Minister oaths of office, we don't have anyone here to administer to, so they can, the 2 new appointees can take care of that later. Moving on to item number 13. Consider and act upon a request submitted by Rodney Hitzfelder of Sago Internet for permission to place their internet antenna on the Devine Ingram water tower near the golf course. I assume you're Rodney.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Welcome, Rodney.
Thank you. I've been here before with some of the council members that might remember me, and some of you are new. I think this is my 3rd appearance before the council. First one was briefing the council, and we put up a 100-foot monopole tower over on Rossville Road, and we did that. So we are a startup, going on almost 3 years old, internet service provider, wireless internet service provider based out of Lacoste. I started the business because of bad internet, and we've been growing ever since. The county commissioners court awarded us a $700,000 grant almost 2 years ago to expand internet to national standards at that time. Since then, we've got 8 towers up. We're growing very rapidly, and a lot of our requests are in the Devine, Natalia, Lytle, and the south quarter and north of here. We get a lot of requests inside the city limits of Lytle. So after we put the 1 tower up, we're looking at one south of town now. We'll be signing a contract down at Lucky Feedlots to shoot back this way. Even though it's just outside the county, I've talked to the judge, we'll be shooting into the county. And so we'll be picking up a lot of residents down there. Devine is a little bit on a hump and a hill. We found a little bit of issue with trying to get from our 100-foot tower to the other side of town, and we've had to decline a lot of clients because of that, because we have a lot of requests. So last time, council gave direction to staff and myself to meet and to resolve any issues that we may have. And a couple of those were a couple of the issues were brought up were interference with existing equipment on the tower. We looked into those, and with some assurances from the county judge, we're running unlicensed 5G, 5 gigahertz bandwidth, and then whatever our backhaul is may or may not be licensed. And he's assured us, and our network administrators and others, that we don't have any interference with the police equipment up there, the emergency siren that's up there, and with the SCADA equipment that reports your water levels and information to Pete that they have to monitor. So those are the 3 things that were on the towers. I think we cleared those. The other thing, we talked about compensation and what else. I'm trying to think if there was any other issues besides that.
My request for compensation was was a request for a percentage of net revenue.
Right.
Because my big concern here is I don't want to charge you folks too much to where we're making business tough for you, but if we're providing really good service because of our location, would also like our tax revenue to reflect that.
Okay. And again, it's an extremely complicated system. I've seen them, and most people shy away from them trying to do because you have to account for the number of customers when you put them on, what date they come on. Do you do it on a monthly basis? What happens when they drop off? And honestly, with a company as small as we are, but it's growing as fast as we are, that would require a lot of accounting. I'd rather try to work out some other compensation that may be amenable to you versus trying to do something with a number of customers. I'm not averse to making your compensation correct, but I want to make it easy as we can on everybody. And part of the compensation generally is, I'm not sure exactly what you have and everything right now. I know there are other providers in town, but we get a lot of requests even though they have some of those providers. And the city offices and some of the other off-site offices that you may have or someplace, we're willing to provide some services to those locations. So now if you have a way that we can do that more easily, or maybe by the numbers, by larger numbers or something like that, but if you do it on an individual basis, it really becomes cumbersome to do that.
Well, I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards, see if we can filter by MAC addresses on that antenna and correlate them to subscriber ID, maybe do an annual plan, but I don't want to hold this up too much longer.
And I know the other issue is access to the tower and concerns about the about security. I'm sorry, I knew there was one more. We have a nationally recognized installer, Walter Wireless, out of Alabama, and he's assured me that they can all of his employees that go up will be background checked. We will probably not more than 3 days to do the entire install, which probably 2, but just to make sure will be 3. And after hours, any other time we have to go there, we generally never go up on the tower unless we have some kind of problem like a lightning hit, which we did have one this year. In that case, we have to schedule a climb. That's not something that just is done after hours. We have to get a climber in, we have to do that. The only other things we've had to do is sometimes go into the cabinets. And Pete Sanchez and I have had discussions, and Dora and I have had discussions that we don't need any type of access that's not monitored by Public Works or PD or whoever the city desires us to go through. So we would have no access whatsoever to just go into the facility and do something. We don't generally go to these sites once we get them up and running, unless we have some type of issue, which fortunately we have not had a lot of. One lightning hit and it knocked out the Castroville Tower for about 2 hours till I got there and bypassed a couple of things. We got them back up and running. So I think that was the third big issue I was trying to think of.
So this isn't something that's going to require regular maintenance, just if something catastrophic happens?
No, exactly. Unless something like that happens, we propose to put a pretty robust system up, eight sectors, which can handle a large number of customers. If we have to go another round of sectors, antennas, then we would come back, schedule that, we'd work with you again. Once we get those up, all we need is a 110 plug, and we have a compensation that has increases for inflation in there. Generally, we monitor what our electricity usage is, very small. And so other than that, we don't come back. We've got some sites we don't go to for a year or more. Sometimes we go out and do maintenance. We do mowing and trying to take care of weeds in some places here. That's going to be an issue that we have to deal with.
So you mentioned Castroville a while ago. You have some on Castroville Tower, so you work with it?
Yes, sir.
We have also.
I started out with RJ Mango's grain elevator. We started there and worked the deal with David Mangle. We put our 4 sectors up and shot 360 degrees.
That's in the cost.
It's in the cost. And we started there. We took care of ourselves, friends, neighbors, relatives, started growing. People started hearing about it. It started paying for itself. So we won. We got good internet. We have what we needed. We didn't spend a lot of money. And we were growing and people were asking for it. And the county came along with the grant. And so now we've got tower outside of the cost, just south of the cost, 160-foot tower. We've got a tower off 132 between Lila and Natalia, It's a 150-foot tower. We've got a 100-foot monopole on Petranco up the hill where all the big towers are. We cover more of the northern part of the county. We've got the tower on the hill above Castro with the other tower farms up there. That's a 150-foot tower. We just started the tower at Dunley this past week, and we're getting another fiber backhaul in there, so we're going to have redundant fiber backhauls. We've got two. We've got the 100-foot tower over here. We've got a 150-foot tower at Chacon, just south of Chacon Lake, where the East Medina water tower is. And now we're going to sign a deal at Lucky Ranch, and we are working with the golf course as of today in outside of Castroville, and looking at some of those subdivisions, and we will probably be getting into fiber very shortly. So we're looking at expanding and going into the fiber business and some networks that are very amenable to what we can do as a new startup. But we are looking at a lot of places that are really underserved and have some places that we just need it. So,
Do you have 10-year leases on all those towers?
yes, sir.
Every single one?
Every one. Yes, sir. The contract I proposed to you reflected what we did with Yancey, and that's why it has the escalator in there to bring it up. And so that's what we worked out with Yancey, with Scooter, and most of them are around those type of compensation packages.
And then your monthly fee is commensurate with everyone, or less?
Yes, sir. They're all the same.
How large is this antenna?
There's two. There's the point-to-point that receives the signal wherever we end up bringing it from, and it's 24 inches diameter, and it probably weighs 10 pounds, maybe maximum.
That's it?
I've got a picture. Last time I think I've got it.
I included them.
Okay, so that's the receiving antenna, and then around the rails will be 8 sector antennas. They're called horns. They're about 18 inches long. They're about 12 inches high and about 6 inches wide. Kind of funny shape. And then the radio that connects to our system is behind it. It's like a big walkie-talkie. And then from there, we run all the Ethernet cable to the base. And at the base, we have a cabinet that is about 45 inches high by 24 inches wide by 24 inches deep. And in that cabinet, we have our router, our switch, and our uninterruptible power source. And that's pretty much it. And everything's networked in there. And then we plug that into a 110 outlet, and it powers our entire system. And then we have a network administrator that's in College Station, and he does all of the networking and tying everything together. And so that's pretty much the entire system. Everything else is Ethernet and connectors.
Where's your, I guess not your downlink, but your base station that actually connects to hardline internet?
We will have two. We've got one at the cost at my shop at MB Auto Center, right close to the bank in the cost. And we have actually 2 fiber lines in there now. We have 2 AT&T lines for 1 gig each, and we have 2 different contracts that are not tied together, so they expire at different times. And that's where we take that. We shoot it in the air to our main tower just south of the cost, and from that we shoot to Petranco, Castroville, Chacon, and then Devine, and then we shoot to Lytle. So everything's coming out of LaCoste right now. As I said, at Dunley, we've got another. So those are AT&T lines at LaCoste. At Dunley, we have a Zayo line that we're bringing in. It's another competitor of AT&T. So we're going to have a totally redundant, separate connection to Dallas, where most everything comes out.
Is it the same backbone though?
It's a backbone, yes.
Are they using the same?
It's a fiber. I'm sorry?
Are they using the same? Like is Zayo leasing from AT&T or Central?
No, Zayo's a major multinational company, very large company that they have a long line from San Antonio to California.
Okay.
And it happens to go out Highway 90, and I was fortunate enough to be able to find it and tap into that, so we're getting a new backhaul.
Okay.
So they're on 2 different power grids and 2 different lines to Dallas where most of the fiber comes from.
Thank you. Would you be amenable to a shorter contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You said obviously you need electricity, so you'll bring your own meter in? through AEP, or will you be using, I don't even know if we have power there, do we?
Yeah, and I think we list on here that he'll be giving us the third for the,
Yeah.
using our electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can help, we don't put in another, meter just for the time, the cost and everything, because we use about $30 worth of electricity a month.
Okay.
And we can show that because we have other ones we can prove, so we can bring them in. If there's a question, we'll show you how much we're paying in actual electricity. Not the taxes, because the landowner's already paying that because it's existing, so we pay that. And then we have an escalator clause in there, as you probably saw.
Another question, are you real familiar with the tower Devine that's up there? Well, I'm sure you're over the tower, but I'm talking about on the other side of the golf course, almost everybody lives in Jack Nicklaus, especially when you get down low.
Right.
They have incredible complaints about, can you do anything about the internet? Anything about the internet? Do you think this is going to reach them down there?
I've had specific discussions with some people over there, one of the school administrators and some other people, and what we have, the horns that we have are kind of unique, is that their signal goes out and it's not a regular angle. It goes down, it dips, and it brings it down, and they're very specific. We'll use 30-degree horns, we'll use for 360 coverage. We'll probably, I said 8, we'll probably do 12, I'm sorry. So we'll probably do, it depends how what our engineers say. But yes, we get down, we can get as close to a tower as, I'd say, 2 blocks. If you're closer than 2 blocks in, then the signal may go over you. So, it just depends. And then we can also, if that's a problem, we can come in with smaller sectors and shoot them down, and we can take care of everybody around the base too. It's just the big ones, they go out 7 miles. So our radius is about 7 miles. So we cover a 14-mile diameter. It's a pretty big footprint. We don't cover everybody. Our technology is line of sight. I wish we did. We are exploring some non-line of sight, non-LOS stuff that will blast through trees. And because down here, especially when you get south of 35 with all the oaks, we have tons of customers we just can't get to because of the oak trees, and they're just really, really hurting. So that's where we may look at some of the fiber, because the big companies don't want to go in. If they don't have 500 homes at least, the big fiber company won't go in and provide fiber. They just won't do it. We have to see if we can do it. There's some grants, a lot of grant money coming out, and we'll be looking to see if some of that's available for some of these communities we can go in.
Dora, Pete, or Simon, do we have a single meter dedicated to that water tower? Like, I know we've got the lights up top, but we have a way to measure the current power output on that, just so we can see exactly how much power the router switch is going to pull?
Yes, sir. It's a single meter, so yeah, we can look at that.
So would it be possible for us to measure the power increase after the first month of operation to just see exactly how much power is being pulled?
I think it's possible, yes.
Okay. Then I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
that we accept the contract by Sago Internet, but with the expiration at the end of year 4 and the electric cost based upon percentage of current power the month after installation and operation begins.
All right, I got that. It's essentially a
I can email
4-year
it to you.
agreement.
Okay, please email.
Accept the contract by Sago Internet, but with the expiration at the end of year 4 and the electric cost based upon the percentage of current power the month after installation and operation. Essentially get a measurement of the power they're actually using so we know our baseline and we know how much they're adding, which that way moving forward, how many kilowatts we're using, how many kilowatts they're using, and we can charge them just however much they're using.
So we would have to tell them every month how much.
Yeah. Is that a reasonable request, Dora? If it's going to make too much work, then we can just go with the $30.
I guess let us look, we'll have to let us see how we can, if we can do that. If it's gonna be a lot, we'll come back to you.
Okay. Let me amend that motion to include, unless otherwise advised by city staff and attorney.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we got the motion by Josh, second by Flipper. Essentially a 4-year agreement, correct, Josh?
Yes.
Okay, 4-year agreement at the current terms, which is, starts out at $200 a month.
Yeah, 220.
So forth. And then, any for, Pete?
Yes, sir.
You don't foresee any issues with physically or anything like that?
I have a question. Will we need to draft up some kind of a contract?
That's what I was gonna ask. We have one, we have a couple of different ones. I can give them Mr. Kate.
Yes.
We can draft that contract and get it to reflect the ordinance. And then if you want to bring it back to council for final approval, we'll be good with that. We can start forward feeling confident with that. We'll certainly get that drafted.
That'll be fine.
I can give our standard one and also give you our Yancey, which is far more extensive. And you can,
Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second, but by our procedure, we are allowed to discuss after a second. The one thing that I kind of agree with there is that technology changes so quickly and so fast. So 10 years is an awfully long time for technology. So, and I just want to throw that out there. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Everybody understand the motion? The words on the wording? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5 ayes. No opposed.
Mayor and council, and we hope, looking forward to be partners with you. If that technology changes, bring other technology in here. Because we're a Medina County-based company, and we live it and breathe it, so we'll be here for you.
Thanks for contributing to the
Thanks
community.
for coming.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Motion carries. Real quick, before we proceed, I did not realize that someone had signed up to speak on agenda item 9.
9 or
Today,
19?
is it 19 or 9? It looks like Phil and Eileen, is it item number 19?
Or 9?
I bet it's 19. That's 19.
Phil, did you sign up for 9 or 19?
The property tax. The 65 and above?
No. Mr. Beck's going to be speaking on 19, and I'll probably will say the same thing he is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have page 2 pulled up on page. I don't have a physical page 2.
Of the agenda?
Yeah. If I did, it's stuck somewhere else.
The back? The back of it?
Oh, there you go. All right, hey, that's thrifty. Okay, all right, so. Well, I'm hoping that the folks at the golf course can get good internet. That, that make them happy. Agenda item 14, consider and act upon the ordinance for the mobile food units. We had a,
Did he show up?
He's
Is
not.
he here?
He never, we gave him a request to be placed on
So
the
we really don't
agenda.
have
He didn't
anything
turn
to
it in.
discuss.
well, we can, because it's just the overall,
Yeah.
the overall ordinance regarding our mobile food units.
I know where I stand on this issue. The message conveyed was he does not attend meetings.
Well,
So,
okay.
I think what we've done here is we've put our city staff in a tough spot. And now we're requiring essentially extra certifications for our folks to go, is this safe? Is this meeting these requirements? Did we read the requirements or not? When the state already has requirements. And if we didn't have this ordinance, we could simply refer to the state, hey, please enforce your policy.
Are we gonna have this whole debate again? All we ask for is to see a copy of the state or county certificates. That's all we ask for, is can we have a copy? And we make our own copy, and they'll just bring it to us, so that we know they're meeting all, and that they have their insurance and everything's under the.
So they failed to do that. Now our city staff's taking up a lot of time and getting a lot of grief because of it.
Well, this was probably the worst time, yes, but he had a mobile food unit working on the property. He didn't have a permit.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But that's all we ask for. We don't ask for anything additional to a state or county requirement. We're not asking for that, except that we need to see it, make sure it's you know, within the dates and all, and we're good to go.
Like, the whole point though is that the folks refuse to show it, now our city staff is
And
still on
then
top
they
spot.
get, Mr. Policeman will go tell them to shut down because they don't have a permit. And that's for the health and safety of our residents. That's why we started this whole thing.
So it's kind of like a peddler's permit, basically. That's what we're, but it's a food
it's
permit for the,
Mobile food unit, yes, which, okay, because I thought we were gonna be talking to him. According to the state, is a motor vehicle, a trailer, a bike, a push cart, a kiosk, or peddlers selling from coolers and hot boxes. So it doesn't matter if you have a truck or a trailer or whatever, it's all mobile. And that all falls under our ordinance. And everything the state requires is exactly what we just say. Can we please see that certificate? We're not asking for anything additional.
I'll make a motion to repeal the ordinance and refer the case to the state DSHS.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused as to what it is that you're objecting to here.
I just don't like our city staff being thrown in the middle of stuff we're just not trained for, and our cops are already stretched thin enough. I don't like having to divert those resources to something that there's already 2 other government bodies to take care of.
Okay.
And so we could go to the county or the state and say, hey, can you folks get after this? We have a concern. Versus, nope, now more of our city staff.
What is the turnaround time on getting the county or the state to look into this?
We wouldn't know until we got it.
They would have to come and find the truck and see if they had the permit or look them up, I guess, for whoever calls and complains. It could be a month. It could be tomorrow. I don't know.
And it would be a concerned citizen, hey, I got sick from eating this. Someone come look at this up.
We currently have 9 permits that have come in and gotten their permit for application.
And the fee on the permits is $10 per day or $50 per year, just to clarify that. So it's a very reasonable fee.
Yep.
Yeah. So, in case anyone didn't catch on to everything, we had a very irate citizen or business person that objected to us requiring him to have a permit for his food truck. That was on property. And he was quite belligerent and what have you. So it was definitely out of the ordinary, no doubt. But he's not here to. Yes, sir. I was just going to ask if you were here for that one. It didn't say, it's just got your name, but I assumed as such.
Hello, my name is Jerry Stevens. I live at 302 Fox Run. I also have my wife and I own Charlie's Daughter Restaurant. I'm sorry, I could not hear what I was coming up here because I couldn't hear what you were saying as far as what you're against this. As far as the ordinance goes, there has to be some kind of accountability with people that are coming in and having a business. Just like with us, we have a business, we have certain permits, we have certain food licenses, there's things that we have to be able to run a business, to have it be operational. Because we're selling to the public. If you have a vendor that comes in that may or may not have the proper permits, they may not be, I would be concerned about the fact that what they're selling out of their trailer, maybe the food truck could be to standards that should be. So I'm just kind of curious, Josh, if you could tell me again, because I apologize, I couldn't hear what you were saying when Stacy asked the question.
As far as I can tell, our ordinance is only profit seeking for the 60 or 50 bucks a year. It's a nominal fee, adds extra burden, and all we're doing is repeating stuff that state and the county already do.
But do you go anywhere else with any other cities? I mean, even City of San Antonio, if you set up a food trailer, you have to have certain permits up there. Well, there's food trailer permit lots all over the City of San Antonio, and I can guarantee you that they're getting their permits just like the state and the county are, based off of the locations where they're at within the city. And so I would think that this is no different as far as what the city is asking for. I mean, we had our trailer in the beginning, and we got our trailer, we got it all set up, We went to the county, we paid of our county permits, it was a 2-year permit that we had, and then we got through with that, and then we came to the city and we purchased whatever we had, which it was a 1 year or 2 year, whatever we needed to purchase, we did that. It's a nominal fee. So, I mean,
Right,
it's
so-
just part of that. That's when, I mean, cities, county, state, they have to do those other
You're
things.
describing a regulatory moat.
I'm sorry?
You're describing to me a regulatory moat. We didn't have these policies, and you continue to operate a successful business, a clean business, one that's still thriving well. Just because the city of San Antonio sets cops in front of a school zone with a light flash and school shut down so they get extra fines, doesn't mean we should do it as well. It's just extra regulation that, again, pulls from the resources of our cops that are already working a whole lot of overtime to, again, enforce policies on the city behalf that the county and state already have.
I think the police have only had to go out to maybe 3 times since we've had this ordinance, which is, what, almost a year? 3 times. That's not overburdening them.
You're not solving any problems with this ordinance to begin with.
No, we're making sure that everybody is got the standards and their permits as to keep our residents safe.
I mean, I don't understand why the state and county can't do their job, why we have to do their job for them without resources.
How would the state and the county know that
The same people.
Joe Schmo's truck is sitting down here on the corner? How would they
The
know?
city found out.
One at a time, please.
My apologies.
Well, anyway, I understand that there's people that are against the ordinance as far as I'm concerned. As a citizen of Devine and a taxpayer, I support the ordinance. I think it's the right thing that we need to be doing. That it's not from a business standpoint. This is my personal, if I didn't have a business, I would still support it. I just wanted to let y'all know. Thank you.
So regardless, either way, the food trailers are getting inspected by the county. I mean, they have to get the certificate from the county, okay, so.
We're not
so that's
inspecting
out.
them.
So.
We don't.
So, but if we don't ask for their certificate, we wouldn't know if they had it or not. Okay, so somehow we have to go ask for them.
Only when they come to get the permit.
Well, exactly, but
Right.
if they didn't come and get the permit, we would have to go physically and say, hey, we need to see your county permit to cook or whatever, or you just don't do it.
Or they go and tell them you need to go to get a permit from City Hall.
Right. So, the other thing that I brought up previously was you also have the sales tax issue. So if you have a food truck, nobody really knows if they're charging sales tax. And albeit it could, let's say a $20 meal, you know, that's $1.62 at their place, you know, whereas over here, you know, it's a difference of $1.50. Feeding 4 people, now all of a sudden, the difference is $6. So,
It is a way for us to see if they're
yeah.
doing it.
Okay. But we do have a motion. Any further discussion? Anybody have anything else?
Is anyone checking our taxes at the end of the year to see if any of the current permit holders are paying taxes?
We have to wait for that report to come out. It was gonna take a whole year before we knew if they were on it. We knew that from the start. And it's coming up.
Well,
Is
at the
that
very
here
least.
In October?
My rebuttal would,
Yeah.
my rebuttal would be, we know some trucks were working here last year. That would be the opportunity I would request. Validate the concern here to me by saying, see, they weren't paying taxes last year, we know they're operating here. Okay, I'll step off this hill. You hear what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, Espana's, Tommy Joe's, Grunt's Grill, I know those 3 for sure were operating in the city last year. If they didn't pay any city taxes on this coming tax roll, you went.
Okay, but we're not there yet.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about lemon. No, have that. Okay, cool.
So that's something we should visit in October.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
something Dora and Denise and all of the city hall people already know to look for. I personally don't worry about it because I know they're gonna take care of it. But what was the motion?
To rescind the
Oh.
food ordinance.
And submit the current case to DSHS.
Are you going to combine them?
Yes.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
motion. Is it based on whatever you like if they're coming from that?
I just want to get simply on the city's plate.
What's the SHS?
DSHS. I don't know what it stands for. That's where you have to go to your state application.
It's
If you don't have a
Department,
county or city application.
DHS is
If you have a city application,
Department of
that's
State
what
Health
you-
Services.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Josh, what was your motion?
Motion is to rescind the current mobile food unit ordinance and submit this case to DSHS.
All right, everyone, we have a motion. Any seconds? Motion dies for lack of second.
I'd like to make a motion that we not change our ordinance and carry on, or do we have to do that?
No, we don't.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Take my motion.
Okay. Okay, item number 15, consider and act upon appointing Lauren Pettis to the Devine Housing Authority Board. Anything there? That's who they're requesting, correct?
Right, and she wasn't gonna be able to make the meeting, but that's who, Linda with the housing, emailed me letting me know that that's who they.
Okay, all right. In my literature that I have as mayor, it says that the mayor appoints the Housing Authority Board. It says would be a nominee. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I know that in the past, the mayor goes to the housing and does the.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the Housing Authority is requesting that Lauren Paris be appointed to its board. And we will need a motion to approve that.
This is who they recommended?
Yes, ma'am.
Make a motion to accept their recommendation.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the appointment of Lauren Pettis to the Devine Housing Authority. Motion was Josh, second was Stacy. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item 16, consider an act upon for council to end the paid quarantine leave COVID policy for the City of Devine employees.
Okay, well, in talking to Tom today, we can do it for all regular employees, but they have not lifted for law enforcement. So we have to, we can amend this to take off the regular employees, but we have to leave the police officers. That has not been lifted, right?
That's correct. State law.
So we would just be ending it for regular.
I'll make a motion, we end paid quarantine leave COVID policy for the City of Devine employees, law enforcement accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Question. Is it okay to just modify the existing ordinance, or do you need a new ordinance?
Yeah, you're going to have an amendment, an ordinance amending this.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same one, though?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because I was saying,
amend
it kind of, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to end the paid quarantine leave COVID policy for the City of Devine employees accepting law enforcement. Correct, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. And we also had a second with Stacy. Okay, any discussion, folks? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You guys have it. And that ordinance number is 10-21. Item 17, consider and act upon software ClearGov for the City of Devine, requested by Alderman Ritchie, District 4.
Dora, I'm most interested in your feedback. What's your opinion on the software?
Denise and I did the demo, but, so, from what we understand is we're still gonna have to have Encode.
Okay.
Because they don't do, right, they don't do what Encode does, but, they're gonna be able to do what you're wanting. Like you're saying, the transparency, the pictures, you know, the graphs and stuff like that.
Yep.
But we'll still have to do inputting into Encode from them, right? But they'll do the inputting once we give them everything. But in order for us to mirror everything, whatever, we'll be having to do some inputting as well.
Okay. Do you think it'll save time on the budgeting? My thought process here is if we can update the budgeting here at the meeting, then we don't have to keep going back and forth And does it automatically calculates all that stuff when we go do our budget meetings?
I mean, Inco does it already, so I mean, I don't, you know, if y'all, if you want graphs and stuff, we can do graphs. If you want it on the website, like right now, I did email y'all the revenue versus expense. If council wants us to upload that to the website, we can, where people can see exactly the percentage every month that everybody's at, every line item. It can be done. We can do graphs, but it's all on what y'all want. I mean, we'll have to still do input for that. So, because we cannot get away from Encode because it's not gonna take away like Denise paying accounts payable, everything that Encode does is still, that's not gonna be taken, they don't do that.
Does Encode allow you to adjust a budget on the spot? I guess the thing from you folks' perspective I want to get after is, like, when we're sitting here and doing budget meetings, we have to say, yes, this tax rate, no, that tax rate, take a look at this, and then you have to go back, and then a week later we come back. And is this something we're able to do where you can bring a laptop and, okay, I change these numbers, this is your new outlay. We put it up on a big projector on the wall so we can say, that makes sense, and maybe get through budgeting a little bit faster and really see how it affects.
I know when y'all deal with the taxes, we do have it in there where you can go in there and we put, based on what the current tax rate, based on what they're telling us, we give you those graphs already. So.
I remember a stack of paper about that thick.
Well, that's the actual budget, yes.
Yep.
We give you the actual budget. I mean, y'all get it during the budget, because if y'all make changes, we're gonna go back and we're gonna make those changes and then bring it back to y'all with the changes that y'all requested on whether it's the police department or airport or admin or whatever. We go back and we do it.
But can you do that here on the spot so we can maybe get through budgets a little bit faster?
Yeah, because, and I don't know if y'all remember, during the budget, we bring the laptop. In case y'all ask questions, we can go straight to Encode and be able to answer the questions that y'all have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a tremendous amount of work to do the transparency part? To just have them upload the data so that, because that goes down to every line item. So anyone who asks in the public, what is this money going to? They can get onto a single line item. I see this check was paid out to that vendor or what have you.
Why don't we want them to see the check numbers?
No, not the check numbers, but it's essentially saying this much money was paid to this pay.
So what, our accounts payable, for anybody to go look at our accounts payable?
Yeah.
That's public information request. They can ask for that.
I mean, this is what I emailed y'all today, the revenue versus expense for the, for the month.
Yep.
So this goes into detail by every department, every line item, and it gives you exactly their balance, where they're at.
Yep.
Based on what y'all adopted back in October 1, this is where everybody's at. Every time you do accounts payable, the department heads get this, so they can see this is where you're at. You gotta be careful, you're already getting close. You know, this is something if y'all, I mean, this can be downloaded to the website if y'all want. For the citizens to see exactly every line item and where everybody's at monthly.
I have a problem with that, but I have a problem with what you're saying. Can you say hack my city, please? So
Hack my city. No, okay, so that's, no, so you have to upload the data to a standalone system. Your finance system doesn't actually connect to the website. Those are completely separate. Those aren't even in the same clump. The website's hosted at Rackspace, probably in San Antonio, and the actual city database is, I mean, we have all the servers here.
if somebody wants to know that minute detail, they can go and send an email and ask for the information.
I simply look for greater transparency in what our city government does. So I guess the transparency is the only product on this sheet that I would have an interest in based on your feedback. If the other stuff's not going to help you, there's no sense in pressing on that.
But, I mean, we're open to, like, if y'all want certain things on the website, we have no problem putting, you know, stuff on the website. I mean, we can do this to where all they have to do is click, and it's gonna show the PDF showing exactly every, you know, the whole thing. Where they can just click on it and then they'll see it.
Well, that's not,
So you can post that each month on the website?
Yeah.
Easy enough?
You could have its own tab on the website, under budget or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Could you put it in CSV format?
It comes in that format.
That's a PDF. There's no way it's generated in a PDF.
Yeah.
Because you can't edit a PDF.
Well, it's probably on Excel.
So you wanna,
Comma separated values, you can import it to a multitude of different places.
what did you say?
Comma separated Excel. Can we-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yes.
okay. All right.
But we've been told by our IT person that we don't want to put anything on our website that is Word or Excel that somebody can manipulate. That it has, if it's on PDF, it's protected. So nobody can go in there and click on it.
So you don't want a live copy of it. A CSV is a flat file. It's like a text file.
We can get with James on that.
Yeah, I mean, a
What you're
CSV
saying.
imports to Excel the exact same, just like you can export from Excel. The difference between Excel and, we don't need to get on this rabbit hole.
There's a way
There
to
are
do it
differences.
safely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can get with him
We're getting
on
way
that.
too deep down the
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
I just know what he said, that we never want to put anything that's coming straight from Word or straight from Excel, that somebody can go in there and change numbers.
Right.
If we want to protect it, and so that's why we do the PDF.
Okay.
And then Transparency only has an annual subscription of $4,500 for this.
I think we get the monthly, each month budget up there, I think that meets the need.
The maintenance fee is $10,000 a year, right?
Yeah, it's $10,000
That's
a
for
year
everything.
to have
That's
this
for the-
thing.
That's for the full cost.
I don't
That was-
see
that
the
was-
need for it to make
that's a
sense.
You're saying that this is something that the city can do on its own without having to buy this
Yes, and the
software?
other thing that y'all want to maybe hold off is when y'all hire a city administrator, they may bring something to the table, saying, you know what, with working for another city or whatever, that they may have, to give them that chance to say, you know what, I think we can do this, or you know what, I've got something else to bring to the table.
That's true.
I'm just
City
throwing that out there.
administrator might
that
want to do their own thing.
Since we're close, y'all are gonna be looking at that, it's on the agenda, this could be, not saying not to do it, but let's give the new city administrator a chance to.
I'll make a motion, we table this item until the new city administrator has an opportunity to review it and provide recommendations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table the item, number 17, until the new city administrator is hired and has a chance to review.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 18, consider and act upon recommending for the city attorney to draft options to ease challenges to contractors building, renovating, or otherwise conducting official business in the city of Devine, requested by Alderman Ritchie, District 4. The floor is yours, sir.
I have talked to a multitude of contractors who they either refuse to do, most of them just refuse to do work in the city of Devine. Their explicit feedback is the city is too difficult to work with, requiring a lot of documentation and all the additional inspections over what they would expect other places, and a lot of licensing requirements that aren't required in other places. Their comparison is this is harder to deal with in the city of San Antonio. We definitely do not have the housing value to match the requirements of the city of San Antonio. However, I understand the state of Texas requires a lot of licensing, and we've currently adopted the International Building Code. There are about 4 other building codes. Residential might be a little bit easier, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'd really like the inputs of some other folks to what can we do to ease the requirements. And my main concern here is we've got a lot of folks that are struggling to make it by. How do we make it easier for them to get additions or renovations done in their house to improve property values without them either just kind of doing it behind the scenes and without them having to sneak around and do it.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit easier for them.
I know that we go based on what y'all adopted, which was the International Codes 2009. Those are the ones that we go off of, and that's what Bureau Veritas goes off of. I do know that we have had in the past where like the contractors come in and there's a form that they have to fill out when they're doing, especially for whether it's whoever's going to be doing the work for their license and stuff. We do that for every application that comes in. And the reason we do that is because a while back, we had somebody that was doing work at somebody's house that didn't even have a current license. And so that's how we caught it. So because they couldn't produce the their license, because they hadn't renewed it through whether it was, I think it was a plumber.
And I think somebody else in the trade turned him in.
That's usually how it is. That's why licensing exists, to keep other people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
So is that the only thing we really, that's,
They fill out the application.
if I
the
wanted to do
building-
a renovation to my house,
Uh-huh.
okay, that I knew was gonna need a permit,
Mhm.
so I come to the city,
Mhm.
or I have my contractor come to the city, he has to fill that form out, correct?
Mhm.
Is that the only thing above and beyond?
It's the actual building permit and the form for the contractors, who's all gonna be the contractors working, whether it's just gonna be the one, depending on what the job is.
Okay.
That's what's filled out. And then we go based on what Bureau Veritas tells us that, you know, they're under the international codes, what's to be inspected.
So we're following Veritas on this?
Well, what they follow the international codes that
Right,
council
but
adopted.
whatever they say we need inspecting
Yeah.
is what we
Yeah.
require.
Yes.
That's how they make money. And we've seen them create problems for folks where we had to create that variance, like Rick's down there. And it's just time and again, it's creating more hurdles.
Yeah, but they had even pulled that back by the time it came back. But I understand what you're saying, but there should be following state and county regulations. What are we doing to make that any harder? I don't understand.
I've been unable to get much deeper with the contractors.
And then how do we fix it if we don't know what the problem really is?
A couple things. I can give you examples. For example, I, as a homeowner, okay, I have to say this, that I had very little issues with the permit. Well, it's actually the inspection, okay, that I had to pay for. Okay, so that reminds me of some, so when Veritas comes out and inspects, okay, they charge a fee. Does the city make any money off of the fee?
No, we not for their inspection, we make it off the actual permit.
Okay, so the permits, we do make money on. Is it a
The percentage.
Okay, is it a considerable markup? For example, can you give me an example?
I believe it's 30%.
Okay, all right, so if they charge us $50, we're charging 65, or whatever, give or take.
Yeah.
But it'd be 40.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so I would say that's nominal to account for our office people doing paperwork and so forth and so on, as far as that goes. So that being said, that was my experience. Now, however, it's funny because this came up and just yesterday in church, well, after church, I had a gentleman talk to me about, there's a company that's interested in leasing the old fire department building.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and one of the things that this company brought out was that they had heard so much about how Devine was hard to work with. Don't know why, but that's all I'm saying. So, right, and I've heard it before from contractors and things and what have you. So apparently it is out there. I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay, they just said that pulling permits can be like pulling teeth, and the list goes on. So, I mean, I can definitely second that concern that he's talking about, because I've been experiencing the same thing just Sunday. So, for example, the old VFD building's going to have to take some renovations and what have you, put walls here or take walls out. Well, there's hardly any walls in there, so they have to, they're going to have to modify it for the business. So they're really, really concerned about coming to the city of Devine to start the process.
I wonder though, because we didn't have a code compliance guy for how long? Like, I want to say in the last 4 years, I think we've had maybe a code compliance guy a whole year.
Almost about, I want to say almost 2 years.
Yes, it's been a long time. So we had someone helping out, and of course we didn't have somebody there when the person came in to get a permit. There's no one there. So they just fill out the forms and say, we'll give you a call when we have it ready, which could take a while because we only had that person coming in
And I don't
very
know
little
if that's
time
what that
during the
is.
day.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what started all of this, because we really didn't have a person to walk them through it. But now we do.
Something Corey mentioned to me about 2 or 3 years ago. He said it cost, I think, $15,000 to $25,000 more to build a house here versus libel. And he went down a whole list of things, he's a whole lot more knowledgeable on it than me, but what are they doing different than us? How do we reduce the
I mean,
cost?
I know Bureau Veritas, I mean, I know Castro uses them, I think Condo uses them. I know.
Well, a lot of cities use them, yeah.
Yeah, they use Bureau Veritas, but it's all based on what they, each city has. I mean, we're still at the 2009 international codes. I know everyone's different on what the codes that they've adopted for their city.
Can we just ask less questions or something? I mean, the homeowner's discretion, I need to get this new roof on, it's $5,000 to pay someone that I trust to do it versus $25,000 for someone who's licensed. If you want to take that risk, you take that risk. You said you're doing it, okay.
And I think if the homeowner's doing that, you don't have.
The homeowners don't need permits.
If they're doing the work themselves, if they hire a contractor,
Then they need it.
So what if they hire a friend?
if they're doing it themselves.
As long as they're on the roof.
So.
Yeah, as long as they're on the roof.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm hiring my friend to help me, and I'm helping him by standing down here in the ground watching.
There you go.
Supervising.
Supervising.
And I don't know if that's a good example, like for roofs, if you're redoing your roof, you don't need a permit.
No, I didn't think you did.
Yeah, only if you're changing the actual structure or whatever.
Well, the
I mean,
idea
you
is
don't-
there,
Yeah.
it's the same idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the bigger thing I'm trying to get at here is though, that since I've been on council, before I was on council, we need to clean up the city. How do we reduce the cost for people to do it? We've got a lot of dilapidated houses, folks don't have the money. So and I'm not looking for any action tonight, just to start a conversation again. What are things, if any of you folks run across ideas,
Okay. I think
how
that's,
can we?
Can I just add, I think this is a good conversation to start. And just because I'm so new, I'm not comfortable commenting on what I would think about the International Building Code versus the Housing Code that you were speaking of earlier. I think that's definitely something that we should look into if we think it'll make things a little bit easier to work with. And I'm not asking for names, but I just need some concrete example of what makes the city of Devine difficult to work with. Because if there is an actual issue, we need to know what that issue is versus I'm just really annoyed that I have to go down there and fill out this paperwork.
That's probably a lot of reasons. That's why people build out the county so much.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to deal with all
Yeah,
that.
and I totally get that, but as far as like the city entity goes, there are certain laws and certain codes that we have to meet. Whereas what you were saying about contractors telling you that we require extra licensing, to me, just sounds like we're trying to cover all of our bases.
That may be it. How do we mitigate those bases?
Yeah, I feel like this would be not an easier, but a little more informed conversation to have if we had some example of they were difficult to work with because of blank.
I agree.
So, and again, I know, I'm not asking for a specific example, names, I'm not asking for that, I'm just hey, person A came up to me and said that they went to the city and this was the problem that they encountered.
We can't fix it if we don't know exactly
What the problem is.
Okay, I think we put it out there. Okay, it's a great discussion. I think another time we can come back with a lot of concrete ideas and firm ideas. Okay, we're just kind of going back and forth now. But I think it's a great agenda item and definitely worth considering because once again, like I said earlier, I've heard the same thing. So, okay.
I know Tom just showed me something that Lytle has, which we do, is the same thing about that each contractor has to come in and.
You have to register. They have to be a master plumber or a master electrician. Yeah, they have to register over there. So I don't know, Josh. You just have to put everything together.
I do know that one of the complaints that I know about, Josh, is the fact that these contractors that come in, they say, well, I already gave it to you on my last job that I worked at this address. Why do I gotta fill it out again? And we explain to them, well, you have to do it just in the event, we're not saying it's you, but just in the event that you didn't renew your license. And you're not current on your license.
Okay.
Make a motion, we table the item.
All right, we have a motion to table.
Second.
Second by Flipper. All in favor?
Aye.
Item is tabled. Item 19, this, consider and act upon property tax freeze for all city residents 65 and above in alignment with the county policy. Requested by Alderman Ritchie, District 4, because he beat me to it.
And John Net was able to get some figures for y'all, he's handing out.
So are you saying when they turn, so let me ask you if this is what you're thinking. When they turn 65, the year they turn 60, this is how it is in the county. The year they turn 65 is whatever the tax rate was at that point. That's, you're frozen at that tax rate.
So a few things I'm looking to make edits to in here. It would be the dollar amount, and it would be citizens who were citizens prior to their 65th birthday. So it'll just get folks pouring in here because they don't want to have an increase in taxes. And then those disabled who currently live here. Does that make sense? Oh, and it's a primary resident, but they do live at full time. That way we don't get more abandoned houses with a lower property tax rate. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'm
Did I answer
following
your
you
question?
a little bit.
Okay.
So it's the tax rate you're approving, or
No, the dollar amount.
The actual dollar amount.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
they were 65.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking, because let's pretend my birthday's coming, and it's, and pretend. So you're saying whatever that
If they pay-
amount I paid in city taxes when I was 65 is all I'm ever gonna pay to the city from then on?
Yes.
Okay. So it's gonna have nothing to do with the tax rate or your appraisal value?
I think John Ed can explain what the county does exactly with regards to when you turn 65. Correct?
Yes.
Please do.
So, that is correct, that whatever they would pay in their, and it would freeze as of 22. Anyone that is over 65 right now would pay whatever 22 taxes were from here on out, unless the rate comes down or the value comes down below that amount that it's froze at. They
So
can
they'll
come
go
down,
down.
they'll never go above it.
Okay.
So
So
when
if for
is,
some reason values drop, tax rate drops, they can pay less.
So it's
They'll never
the
pay.
money amount will
Right.
never
If you pay
change.
$500 to the city in 22, you will pay $500 to the city for the rest of your life.
Okay.
so, okay, my
And so what-
birthday's in November.
I'm sorry?
Okay, so when would it come into effect for me? After I turn 65 and then the next budget year?
It would be
Okay, next tax
when you
assessment
turn
year?
65.
The tax year of your
The
65th
tax
birthday.
year, you turn 65.
Okay, so if okay, I'm gonna turn 65 in 2020, let's see, what's this year? 2025. Okay.
How old am I?
Actually, okay, 2025, I'm gonna turn 65.
Right,
So
whatever
when I
value
get
is
my
that year.
appraisal for that year, okay, which I normally pay, what you pay before April, June, before the penalty, that will be reflected because I'm gonna turn 65 in that calendar year.
Right.
Okay, got it.
And what I had our software company do is they ran taxes with your current rate and the current values we have on preliminary 2023. So the first column is showing the 2023 taxes you would collect for those over 65 people if the tax rate stayed exactly what it did in 22. The middle column is what their 22 taxes were with their over 65 exemption. The third column that says actual tax collected is anyone, their columns may be different because they have an extra exemption like a disabled veteran. So they have another exemption on top of that. So that last column shows what they actually were taxed at in 22. And so the very last page has the first column is the 2023 proposed. And then if you subtract the third column, which is the actual tax collected, with the values we have right now and your tax rate not changing, you'll lose $26,554 by freezing them in 22. Does that make sense?
Yep, perfect, great work, outstanding, exactly what it was.
I thought it was going to be more.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought it was going to be a lot more.
It might be 2-3 years down the road, you know, as
That's
new
true.
evaluations come in and it keeps going up and it keeps going up, all right, it's gonna be compounding interest in essence,
And
same
this is
concept.
an estimate. It is,
So-
you know,
Oh,
like
Right,
I said, based,
right.
yeah.
I
It
really
gives you
thought it
an
was gonna be
idea of where you're
hundreds of
starting.
thousands, I thought.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't be more in favor personally, you know,
Well, I'm gonna abstain because it does affect me.
it already does.
So, I'm not gonna join.
Hey, Tom, what's the right verbiage to put in there for folks who are disabled and completely unable to work? Because essentially my concern here, I don't want to write a policy here where you can have ADHD, you're disabled, and then we're giving you, because there's a lot of things that qualify as disabilities and don't inhibit your ability to earn an income.
I
So
think that definition is contained.
Technically, the state mandated disabled person is anyone receiving social security disability.
So that wouldn't apply to this, unless it
Y'all
was
do
65
grant,
or above.
yes, you do grant the disabled person exemption.
could I just say permanently disabled, unable to work, or not working, unable to work?
I mean, you need to say disabled according to state statute, that's what you need to say.
Like-
That's the only way that we can do it, right, Lynette?
Right.
My concern here is, again, we get folks collecting Social Security, coming from the depressed coal region, we have a lot of folks collecting Social Security that they're still working, they're not anywhere near disabled. So I don't want to create a
Yeah,
loophole
but that's not,
for folks
social
getting this.
security and social security disability are two separate things.
So
I know.
how do you account for somebody's name that's on this list and the parents or the owners are deceased and the son or the daughter lives there?
Right.
How do
If
you-
the,
And it's never got registered in their name and they're still paying, they're getting the over 65 discount. Oh, well, the, what do you call it, the tax rate.
If the heirs are over 65, they qualify.
But his point, how do
No.
you know that people die?
We get the obituaries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We read the
That's if they
obituary.
give them to you, or?
Yes, they get sent. We get sent the obituaries from the funeral homes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yes, I know
Yes,
they
and
do.
All right.
On my parents' side, I
Internet,
had
I
to
mean,
go
you know,
through that. They already do it. That's good to know.
That's a great question, Mike.
Yeah, we do.
Or if they own 3 houses and they're 65,
It's
no?
only your homestead.
Oh, it's only your homestead?
It's
Okay,
only
so
on
no
your
rent
homestead.
houses,
It has
just,
to be your primary residence.
okay.
In order to qualify for it.
And by saying a primary resident, that does not include if they're living in a nursing home.
Right. They are allowed, if they were living in the home they were living in before they went into the nursing home, they can qualify for their over 65 loan.
Because if they got out of the nursing home, they intended to go back to that home.
Right.
So it's all that have to be in the motion.
No.
Yeah.
This is just discussion.
It's a composite.
And what it's, I mean, if it ends up that they do not go back to that home, we will take the exemption off.
So what I don't want to encourage is more abandoned houses around town because folks are, one of my neighbors there in a nursing home, they've been there for over 5 years. It's just a property that's deteriorating them. I do not want to incentivize that. Any recommendations how we mitigate that?
I think you would have it anyway.
You have to change the law, Josh. I mean,
Yeah, that's a state, those are state mandated.
Override that.
Well, we haven't written anything yet.
No, I said we couldn't override that.
The only,
I just don't want to give them
the
exemption.
only way that you could, well, you're still over 65, I'm saying. You could only do it where you're only over 65, not disabled person, but you're still not, with what you're saying, being in the nursing home, it's not gonna secure that.
Excuse me, former Commissioner Jerry Beck is in attendance, and he was a good, this was his thing with the county. I think you had a question or a statement?
Do I have a question?
Or were you just scratching your ear instead of?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
You lost me about 5 minutes into the conversation.
You asked me or everybody? Anyway, this is the county note for county taxes. So folks in line, county tax, we're 65 over there.
Had I known about this 10 years ago, sitting on the commissioner's court, I'd have done it 10 years ago. But I didn't find out about it until last year. And I think if there's any way that we can give these folks out there that are 65 and over any kind of break from these skyrocketing appraisals, no offense. You gotta have some relief from these taxes. I mean,
Yes, sir.
and the blame is not on the comptroller, I'm sorry. But anyway, if there's some way that you can pass that in the city, and I sent Josh the statute.
Send me a
right?
screenshot.
Huh?
Send me a screenshot of
Well,
that statute.
I hope you dug into it. But all it took was a vote of Commissioners Court for it to pass. But for some reason, most of them wanted to put it on the ballot, which is fine. And I would assume that all it takes is a vote of City Council.
I would think so.
And if the City Council sees fit to give these 65 and older folks a break from these outrageous appraisals and taxes and things of that nature, if they can do it, I would suggest doing it. And I don't live in the city. So that's my only concern was that.
Right. I agree with you.
So.
I agree with you. Tom, real quick, I'm just curious, so can we draft?
We didn't get into all the disabled or anything like that.
Right.
65 is like school tax.
That's what I'm saying.
65 or over, you get them pros.
The school has a disabled person in the also.
I'm just saying that's required, right? That's required.
Right. That is mandated, yes.
Did I need to say that?
Bill, did you want to speak? Okay.
Well,
Go right ahead.
it's real simple. It's
State your
straightforward.
name, sir.
Bill Montgomery.
Where do you live?
Here. Apparently. No, I don't feel that 26,000 is a guesstimate, or pretty close, that's not a hard number. It's not that the city's gonna be out any major amount of money, because the value of my property, from the way I understand it, is still gonna go up. It's just the dollar amount's not. If I die, she dies, then we both die, then it's whoever purchases the house. If my kids inherit it, it's gonna go up to whatever it is, as if it was going up every year. So it's something that you can really do for people that on fixed incomes. And I never really knew what that meant till I are one. And sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's not. But it's a way to help your constituents, without a major impact. And it's got a lot of loopholes that you probably need to look at or whatever, or talk to her, she probably knows them. But it's also got a lot of benefits, and I think the benefits outweigh any problems, because it's my house. I can't move into a nursing home and rent it.
Yeah, once it's rented out.
See?
Definitely.
So there's ways to do this that people have thought of that they fixed. They're not they, but the state has fixed. And the county jumped all over it and did it. The school board jumped all over it and did it, and it would be an opportunity to shine your buckle, and help us old timers out, because we're not going to be here that long.
Agreed.
And that's really all. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I personally am in favor of it.
It's a good thing, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my thing would be, I would just suggest that we draft an ordinance as such, okay, and that we've already mentioned to consider the counties and so forth, because there's a lot that goes into it, unless we can make a broad motion to approve that. But I mean, there's so many details and so many loopholes and so many things everybody's been talking about. So can we draft something and then bring it to the next meeting and give it to everybody beforehand to examine and so forth, and then we can actually vote on approving something rather than talk forever about it.
I've got a question for Jeanette. Is there a deadline for the council to pass this so that it would apply?
I would say it would have to be before certification, which is July 20th.
That would be a good
special
To
meeting.
get it
We would have a
right
special
now,
meeting.
otherwise it would go into effect next year.
Yeah,
special
I
meeting.
would say to go ahead and vote to approve the ordinance doing this tonight. And that way we can bring it back, but it'll be dated tonight with you guys. Yes.
Because our next meeting is on the 18th.
Yeah.
Today's board.
Yes.
Because we're close.
That's got
Anything can happen, you can not have forms, summertime, it's this, that, or something, so.
I'd like to make a motion then.
Okay, Josh, go ahead, please.
Make a motion that we freeze property taxes that any permanent disabled, non-working citizen, or citizen 65 and older living in Devine prior to their 65th birthday, living in their home full-time as a citizen of Devine, never pay more in city property taxes than the dollar amount of their city property taxes the year of their 65th birthday. I can email it to you.
Thank you.
I second that motion, buddy.
Flipper second. Oh, Michael, okay, we have a motion to freeze, yes, ma'am.
Is it effective 22 tax year?
Effective
This
22
year?
tax year.
Yes, because that's what 23 would freeze at, the 22 tax rate.
Okay.
So add that to your motion.
Effective 22 tax year.
Is that sufficient, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to freeze property taxes at 65, and what he said. Any further discussion? Oh, sorry, Michael seconded. Yes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, I'm sorry, and Debbie abstained because she's already qualified. Okay. All right, could be happier with that. Okay, now we go into executive session. Yes, ma'am, I think so. Okay, we have a request to take a break. 5, 10 minutes, which one?
5.
Okay. 5-minute break, please. Okay, we reconvened at 8:16. We will now go into closed session. Do we got to go in the little room? All right, everybody. We're back in session. My time has 9:14. Do I need to say that we didn't take action there or just proceed to 21? Huh?
No action taken.
Right, okay. No action taken on agenda item number 20, executive session. Moving on to agenda item 21.
Mayor, you want to ask for a motion to instruct the city secretary to go ahead and...
I thought that was that.
20.
That would be on 21.
Oh, that's 21, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So on 21, reconvene in the regular session to consider action, if any, on items discussed in executive session.
Make a motion, city secretary, vet and schedule appointments with city administrator applicants.
We have a motion from Josh. We have a second from Flipper. Everybody heard the motion?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Administration report, do you want to talk about
I
that?
didn't get a chance to do that, but if y'all have any questions or concerns, just let me know and I can shoot y'all an email. I thought I was gonna get it finished today, but I only had 2 employees up front, so I was kind of running around helping them. Both Denise and I were running around.
I just got one about the manhole over there by the Walmart.
Yeah.
Pete,
That's really,
somebody was supposed to, Valdez was supposed to be doing it today, but
Contractor by the name of Jay Valdez was supposed to be here last week, but he came into some problems with the other job he was doing out of town. And then he was supposed to be here Monday, and he canceled that because of concrete. He can't get the concrete till Thursday. So he'll be here Thursday.
Good. That's going to cost us about $8,000?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
8,000.
And that's a street that only goes to Walmart?
Yep. Yeah, 8,000.
Gotcha.
and do we know why? I guess semis, but
Yeah, it's the same.
is this gonna be?
our understanding from
Exactly.
JR
Like-
was that when JR looked at that
Those
street,
big old trucks that come in there?
Yeah.
It's going to happen all the
it
time.
wasn't constructed to withhold,
Right, and
All
right
that
there where
weight
they...
going through.
So now it will be. I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
well, the manhole part will.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the other damage on that street where they
Yeah.
park and everything?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The drainage and I mean
Right.
that's just.
Yeah.
Well, it's already caving in the back.
Yeah, he's gonna give us a price on
And
that.
on the
I've
side.
seen some repars hanging out. I'm just worried like semis park or don't see it. They bust their front tire or whatever, and they're gonna say, "Well, the city owes me a new tire."
There's a city ordinance sign on
Had
it.
that in the-
I don't know.
There's
I think they
markers for
shouldn't be
that.
parking there, period.
There's caution markers there for that, so.
I mean,
Well, I'm with you with them parking, I mean, not parking there, I mean,
yeah, because.
go park at QT and.
Exactly, I mean.
Okay, anything else under administration report?
Can we get all the stuff, anything that can be put into a CSV or Excel, can we get that? It's just a lot easier to read through, like these PDFs are really tough.
Okay, so you wanted it in, okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Moving on. Item 23, informational items. I have a couple to inform council about. I met with County Judge Keith Lutz and Danny Waller, our commissioner, the other day about the interlocal agreements. Not going to be the same, everybody. For example, with Commissioner Beck, number one, we can't have just a standing interlocal agreement, right? We will have to have a certain agreement for each particular project that we're asking the county to help us on. Okay, so it's not anything we do once a year and so forth and so on. And then also, it is no longer a matching type thing to where, for example, a street, okay, where the county will resurface the street for us and we provide the materials. Not anymore, unfortunately. So basically, it has to be, how do you say it, we have to pay something for the services, okay, whatever they're worth, okay? It could be in exchange for something. For example, it could be the water at the county building, you know, where Danny is over there, in exchange for something else, okay? Right, and Danny has let us know that he is willing, very, very willing to help us out every chance he gets. So when something comes up, we want him to work with us on. You know, he's asked, you know, for council to tell me what we want, and then he'll be glad to meet with me and go over anything and so on. Okay? But there has to be something commensurate involved from our end to the county. Okay? It's a sorry law, but it's just the way it is. So, okay, and then I met with Todd Grangy, the school superintendent, today with regards to the water storage tank. And the school board went over that last night, and they are asking for us to make a proposal. And that's pretty much it. I assume a friendly proposal. It could be a like kind, same kind of thing, okay, that they would consider. No specifics were mentioned. So, you know, we need to come up with something because we really need to put that storage tank right next to the old one, okay? And I think they're willing to cooperate, you know, and hopefully help us out. That's kind of where we are on that. So we would need to, either city manager or whatever, I mean, we can't wait till the next council meeting to try and come up with some kind of proposal.
We could see whatever it's the appraisal for the land. We only need an acre, right?
The acre, yes,
And I don't think they want to sell. I would say at least type.
They want to do a long-term lease?
That's the gist I'm getting. Once again, they didn't allow any specifics.
Well,
Okay.
the problem with that is this water storage tank's gonna be there forever. Well, at least, well, the one we got right now is 70 years, so.
Well, but it was supposed to have a 50-year life.
Supposed to,
Yeah,
but
so-
thank God it's had longer, otherwise we'd have no water.
So I would say we could propose a 50-year lease of some sort.
What would happen then if the tank is still good and they want their land back? Then the
Well,
city has no water.
I was assuming we'd worry about that 50
I
years.
think we need to really buy that land.
They're not going to sell it.
Well, we can make them,
I would be in agreement with that. I think you'll ruin the relationship that we would
that we even have.
always have.
We must not have a very good one now if they don't want to sell us 1 acre.
I'm not even so sure they entertained that. What I'm trying to say is, okay, we haven't asked them to buy it. If you want to make a proposal that we want to buy that acre of land, but the thing is, it's going to be in the middle of everything else they own. Okay, it might inhibit their future plans. Okay, I'm just passing it on to you. It really seems to me the time has come that we really need to have a friendly relationship with the school district and vice versa.
I understand, but we need water for the city too.
Then we would have to spend more money and put the storage tank somewhere else.
I don't think we have money to buy the land either.
Because we're also going to need a new tower before too long, from what I understand.
Yeah, we probably will.
So,
We're down from 3 storage tanks on the ground as it is. We need to build more of those regardless.
Yeah, but this is the big one. It's the main one.
But at least it's a lot cheaper than a purchase, and they're still part of the community. They're still some, they'd be without water if we were without water.
True.
I want to say, I think council, remember when we were doing the application for the water well? I think y'all selected that location as well. If I remember right? To drill the water well, right, Pete?
I don't think it was approved, I think
We just, that was what was submitted to the
right. So it's gonna be the ground storage tank and then the water well.
TDA.
Right, yes.
Mhm.
So that's where we're trying to do the water well and the ground storage.
you get all that on an
We
acre?
gotta own that land. We have
About an
to.
acre.
You're not
What is,
gonna get it.
I mean, they're willing to do a cost share with us too.
That's what JR did.
It sounds like a win-win-win all
They want
around.
to see it.
If we go
You
buy
wanna
it,
roll
I'm
that
just
out?
agreeing with you. I'm just going on history.
Where's the water tank?
We can have a special meeting to discuss it. If you've
Water
got
tank?
proposals.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna turn into a nightmare if we
So-
don't have a discussion on it.
So,
Yes.
so if council
Oh, it'll be
wants
next
to
to that,
propose
not
that we
too
buy the acre, they said ask for a proposal. Make a proposal. And they might want to barter from there.
They need the money, that's for sure. Got a budget shortfall.
Thank you, sir.
So,
And Pete, is that going to take care of the 150 that we have to do around?
For the tank.
The sanitary easement.
Oh, yes, that was supposed to take care of all that, yes. And this tank right here is only a 500,000 gallon tank. I think the one we proposed was a million. I think that's what we,
how soon you guys will do this? Sounds like time is of the essence.
Mm-hmm.
Next week too soon? It will be a fairly short meeting, I would presume. I said, it appears time is of the essence.
Yeah, it does
So we
sound
need to
that
get
way.
together and make a proposal to the school.
So y'all want to have a special meeting?
So I mentioned, let's see, what's today, the 20th? 27th?
I'll be out of town. Tuesday. I'll be back on
Next
the 29th.
Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Josh is out of town until the 29th. Gotta have 72 hours.
How about the 28th?
He'll be gone till the
Oh.
29th.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that part.
29th is a Thursday?
Yep.
I'm okay with it, Thursday.
Oh, I thought you said.
So the 29th?
No, I'm good.
Flipper, you good the 29th? Michael?
let me check.
Tom?
What do I got here?
What, the 29th?
This is something Tom should be here for.
I'm good. 29th, I'm good. So they don't want to sell us this acre?
You good?
We don't know that yet.
We don't know for certain. That's just the feeling.
29th?
They made absolutely no proposal. They want to hear what we propose.
How much they short in their budget?
200,000.
I'll make it that night if you really want it.
Is it 2 million? No. So is it gonna be at 6 o'clock?
If that's what y'all want, 6 o'clock, we can do 6 o'clock.
That's fine with me.
I find it's best I put it on the calendar now.
June 29th at 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
I better put that on there too.
Okay, cool. Yay, we can talk about it.
All right. Okay, all right, so we will have that meeting on 29th, next Thursday, 6 o'clock.
I have a couple things to ask. They're informational.
Okay?
I just want to confirm with Laura that animal control, that we actually have an animal control person on call on the weekends, right?
Yeah, their schedule is split. So
Okay.
like if they get a call for a dog bite or something, they come out.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that, because after looking at the report, there were quite a few dog or animal control calls the police took, and I thought, well, maybe they were after hours during the weekdays, but I want to make sure they were working on the weekends. Do we have an ETA for the slide in Bristol Park?
July 26th or 27th, we should be doing it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I had put in a request a while back about us looking to get a proposal on the sound system. Do we have any?
Oh, okay. My buddy from a band is very, very well versed. I mean, very knowledgeable in sound and what have you. He was fishing in the coast and talking to me in between. And he does have some ideas. Okay. And I've now taken a closer look at exactly what we have. And I will discuss it with him further on his recommendations. So I think we could do better. I know that a lot of
better. It's definite.
I mean, especially on our telecast. So I'm wondering if there's something we can use to where the board would go directly to the video device, where the volume is in that. It's mixed. It's mixed into one volume, and then it goes into the device, rather than the microphone that's on the device.
Mm-hmm.
So.
If we could find a way to integrate the projector screen so the folks on the video can see all the stuff we're saying, all the people here can see it.
You're asking for.
It is a lot.
Well, we could start doing it on the back wall here too.
I'm open to different ideas. I really want the folks in the audience to know.
That's already.
Right, then they know to access the same stuff we're looking at.
And then another common complaint is nobody could ever see the speaker at the podium.
Right, I agree. That's
So,
I get that a lot too.
you know, you could always angle the video. The video doesn't have to be full front. You know, I don't know. This is something to consider. You know, so I think it's
just
great
wanted
that
to
we do
know-
this.
So I'm glad you're looking into that, because I get kind of yelled at about that a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great that we do this, that we film it. It's transparent and what have you, but it just needs to be a better product. So.
My next one was, has Allstate started working on the Edwards well number 2?
They completed the work last week.
Oh, super.
All I need to do is get samples now.
So that's what we're just finalizing. So soon, maybe we'll be up and running with it.
Yes.
Yay.
They just need well, they didn't finish all the way. They did all the standpipe and everything, and the pipe's done. They just need to do some blocking under, some concrete blocking under. But other than that, it's done. It's ready. We can use it now. I can get my samples now.
Oh, that's great. That's good news.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Thank you. Okay, here's another one. Dora's gonna love me for this one. I know we're in a water issue right now, like we're all supposed to be saving water. And because of that, our fire chief hasn't been able to check our fire hydrants for, what, 1.5 years? But I'm wondering, because he found 7 out of the first 50 that he looked at.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, there were 7 I know that didn't work at all. But we still have another 150 to go. I mean, I think he said we had like 200 and some hydrants. So I was wondering, can we get him back on track, maybe in the fall, not during the summer when it might be crucial for the water, but maybe in the fall, have him start his schedule up again?
Right now we're on stage 2, so if we get some rain, then yeah, it'd be great. But
July.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it during the summer.
Right.
But I know he has to schedule his time too. I was just wondering if we
So
could talk to him about it.
coordinate with the fire chief to start back again with the
Yes,
testing the fire.
I've been talking to him, and yeah, we've been talking. He's just, like I said, we're on stage 2 right now.
Yeah, Well, I know that, but we may be in safe street for the rest of our
Right.
lives, and then we'll never know what hydrants don't work
A lot of
until.
those hydrants are where the contractors are working right now, so.
Well, no, those I know, those are all brand new, but I'm talking about the other existing
Right.
ones.
Yeah, no, definitely we can live with them.
Okay.
I've heard some of those brand new ones don't work either, so I.
Because they're not hooked to
Yeah,
water.
they're
Right.
not connected.
Yeah, they're not
Connected.
colonial and all that. Yeah.
And one last one, and I'll leave you all alone. Have we started the electrical project at hangars 8A, A, and?
No,
and-
not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
Is he coming soon?
Whenever y'all are ready, I mean, he's.
I thought we
ready
said
go.
to start as soon as he could.
I can get him there.
That's what council voted on, was to
Okay.
start as soon as we could.
We need to revisit that, because, I mean, the electric work might have to be changed. A perfect example is what I've said tonight. If TxDOT comes in and says, hey, this would be a great way to do your hangars, to split it into 4 people, 4 parts, or whatever, well, that means you're gonna need 4 meters instead of 1 for the entire building.
Yeah, the airport advisory board was, they had some good ideas there, if you can use that space for a lot of different things, like, parking space.
So was
sitting
council
behind
ever
the
going to be
quarters.
advised that we're not doing it, since that's what we decided?
Actually, I hadn't thought about it until now, until you mentioned it.
I thought it'd be
I
done by
actually
now. I
thought
was
it
all
would come up.
excited.
So, because it was so general in nature and so forth about what's going to be done there, right? And then, for example, the proposal we had was essentially built to suit his needs. Okay, those needs might change, and then we'd end up spending more money going back and retrofitting what was already done. So I did mention it to Dora, and
Well, what about
they talked to the
and
contractor.
8A? Those are, we're going to have to rent those out, and the electrical has to be done. Can't we at least have those?
I was just referring to Hangar 10. But she spoke with the contractor, and he was okay waiting because he is going to do the eventual work, and he was fine with it. So, I didn't know
He's
she.
just the one that actually talked to the contractor.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice that council would have been told that. But that's just me.
So
Okay,
what do
that's
we need?
it.
Do
I'll
we
leave
need
you
to
alone.
start, do we need to have him start on 8 and 8A?
I'd like,
Personally, I
I guess
would wait
I'll-
until TxDOT comes down.
do we need to make a
What are
motion
they
on
going to
this?
change in 8 and 8?
Well, I thought we already motioned
How do we know?
to have it done.
Yeah, we already did the motion to do it.
Well, that's what I mean, do we need to change it, or
Well, then,
is that something,
it's just delayed. It's still going to get done. It's just delayed.
what's gonna be different? Wouldn't it be different if
Okay,
it's, let's say we do the
I-
I
4?
come back
specifically
and amend.
remember making the
Yeah.
statement, I don't want to amend the budget unless we're going to do the work. And then that's what the motion was, amend the budget and start the work.
Yeah.
And now we're 3 weeks later, if the guy can't come yet, I understand. But if we're delaying the project, I'm kind of upset about that council wasn't aware of that.
Well,
That is something the council
would be-
should be deciding.
if you insist, but we had the airport board meet, okay? That was their recommendation about how to proceed, and the biggest thing was TxDOT. When we found out that TxDOT could come on July the 12th, that's rather quick.
I hear
Okay.
what you're saying,
Okay, so-
Mr. Mayor. I
so-
get it, but I still think we should have been involved in that decision.
Well, you could, I suppose, other than the fact that the motion isn't, the vote isn't changed. The work is still there, he can still do the work. There was no time frame involved, okay? Once, not necessarily my decision, Dora and I discussed it, okay? And I recommended to delay, waiting to see what TxDOT was gonna say. Because it just doesn't make sense to me to go and spend money for this, and then you gotta turn around and redo it.
So what you're
So the
saying,
work
though,
is
is
still
you're
on the
expecting a
table.
change, and
I'm
therefore,
not saying
that's why
anything.
we're not doing it.
I'm saying I'm not qualified to expect a change.
I would encourage you folks to reach out to the airport advisory board. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I'm very bearish on the airport. Those guys had a lot of information to share at that board meeting, which was
Yeah.
super tough to make, 3 in the afternoon. But they gave me a little bit of hope that maybe it's not such a black hole of money.
It was mentioned in that meeting, like the 4 meters, like not starting on electrical work right now and so forth. So it was mentioned there. Nobody's hiding anything.
I didn't say anyone was hiding
Yeah.
anything. I'm saying it's the council's decision.
Why
to
would it
make
be?
that kind of decision.
What kind of decision was made?
To delay the project when we all thought it was gonna start, like, as soon as the guy could start.
I don't know where, I didn't get that impression.
Well,
I got
let's
the
go back
impression,
and
I got
watch
the
the meeting
impression,
and hear the motion, and then you'll hear.
I got the impression it was tied in with the proposal.
I hear your concern. I would encourage you to be more specific with your motions.
To start as soon as he can, I think is how I put it, but I'll, you know what?
I'm in with a motion, but the thing is that now that the whole, everybody's talking about the lighting and everything else, I just want to make sure that if we don't rent it to Mr. Lopez, is Mr. Lopez correct, or somebody else comes in? Munoz, I'm sorry, Mr. Munoz, we actually rent it out to somebody else, or Mr. Munoz didn't want it. The next client comes in, wants to rent it, and they're gonna say, I don't like this lighting.
Then they
Now,
can change it
yeah,
at
so
their cost. Let them change it at their cost. We would do that to any other hangar, leaseor,
Right.
or leasee,
Why are we spending the money on something that?
because it's not the code right now.
The thing is this, okay?
It doesn't work at all.
A lot of times you want to attract a tenant, whether it be a commercial building, a residential building, or whatever, okay? You wait to build to suit for a prospective tenant that might pay you more money. And that's my thinking on it. Why would we build to suit for Mr. Munoz when he may not get the contract? Because
But
all
I
the
thought
things,
Vicky was with Pete and all those, and the what do you call it, the sockets and stuff that are there, or plugs. We're just replacing where they're at now.
okay.
But we are changing the lighting to LED.
As a matter of fact, and I'm not saying to not do it, okay, but it was even mentioned by somebody at that meeting that there's spots in there you may not even need lighting, depending on who moves in. Believe it or not. They're not saying they recommend it. It just seemed to be the prudent way to proceed, in my opinion.
The board had a lot of, please reach out to those folks. And the guy that
They had a lot of great
point tonight, he had a ton of information from experience at other airports.
I understand.
You know I hate that
was just
airport as
making
much as the golf
I know
course,
you
but
do.
those
I
guys
was just
really gave
making
me
the
some
thing
hope.
that it should have, like, even, Michael said, he would worry about, well, it's still a council decision to make to delay it, is what I'm saying, not any one other person or people's.
Well, that's the
council.
operational side of the city. And in our government, it would be the city manager's idea
So
to
you're
delay
gonna throw
it.
it on Dora, that Dora's the one that.
Actually,
Threw you under the bus.
no, it's not,
I'm teasing.
it's
I'm
not
just
thrown under the
teasing.
bus, it's exactly how it operates, and that's exactly how we do need to operate, because things are gonna come up,
I still
things
don't
might
think it's
change.
right.
You can't
I'm sorry.
always
Because-
convene council, okay, for every little thing. The motion wasn't changed,
But we weren't
the
told that
intent
it was
wasn't
delayed.
changed.
We weren't even notified it
Well,
was
that,
delayed.
I don't know, she tells everybody about everything else,
Well, not that.
so,
So we do need to get the 8A or whatever, because I know they tried it on and they popped
Yeah.
the breakers and whatnot.
They don't work.
So that one was completely not working.
Once again, TxDOT's coming on July the 12th. They're going to have a lot of recommendations for us on what we can and can't do, what they might be able to help us do, and so forth. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Look, you got $1 million out there, man.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, plus relocation fees, another $45,000 ever paid. So, at the present, we sit with an albatross. So
I don't want to lose any more money than we are. That's why I'm glad that we held off on those lights right now.
That's the way I see
it.
It would have been nice to be notified.
Your points are fully valid.
We're letting you know right now.
So not gonna let go of it.
I just got a question on that. I was like, what's that called, inserter valve or?
Well, we talked to the city engineer, and they're all agreeing that it's best for them to go around Colonial Parkway, hook up Devine Drive, so they have some valves that work, to cut that section out. Instead of doing an inserter valve and seeing it don't work or something, and then we're spending more money on another valve. So we decided just to go all the way around, and once they do the other tie-ins, do the valves and new valves, then they can shut that section down. I think, to me, I think it's the best thing to do. Because if we're just gonna be spending more money on the valves, we're not sure where the water's coming from.
And how we doing on paying the what was it, Chromex?
We're doing, yeah, we've
Well, I
been
mean, I'm
paying
talking
them.
about what the state.
Texas Water Development Board's been approving them, yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're back on track.
Wow, that's good.
Have we repaid that line of credit?
Huh?
Have we repaid that line of credit?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
We did.
That's even better.
We repaid that, yes.
That's
Yes,
great.
and then we got to pay ourselves.
Well, that's good, though.
Questions on, I don't want to say lawn care, but we got a lot of abandoned houses and unused properties. I know that I could request selective enforcement, but let's be gentle with our elderly folks who can't stand the heat right now and want to maintain their lawns. We got a whole lot of properties that are completely abandoned and just unused. There's some serious jungle action going on.
Is there anything we can do on that one on transportation?
In fact, I talked to Tom today about it, because we were told that it may be in
Yeah,
litigation.
it may be in litigation, but we're working on that. We don't want to do something that's going to, to mess up the litigation, but we're still moving forward. We're providing them notices.
They did get a letter. I believe that he's trying to get somebody to mow around, but not to do anything with the actual structure until we find out if there is really litigation or not.
Once we get his attention, then, well, he's contacted us, but when we start the proceeding in municipal court, then he needs to, if he doesn't get a lawyer, then we're going to proceed. I mean, we'll proceed anyways with a lawyer, but at least if we have a lawyer, we'll be able to talk to him.
So code compliance is going to reach out to him and let him know that that the letter that he received, if he does have a lawyer, he needs to give it to that lawyer so the lawyer can reach out to our lawyer.
We have a status update on the guy that lives behind the Masonic Lodge there, the tire shop.
I want to say he was sent a letter that he could not be running a business, and I think he did go to before court. But I want to say that I think that it's like a big family. So I think it's.
I've had folks complain the guy's clearly a drug addict, I get that, but he's doing some illicit activities behind the house from a few folks. Which is
Where's this at?
Your district.
Right behind the Masonic.
Behind the lodge.
Driving to
North
the
Windy
lodge,
Knoll,
if you look
right side.
right there, used to have a huge sign that
Yeah.
said tire shop. But after that first time they went to court, it cleaned up pretty good, not good,
Yeah.
pretty good. And
I'll check on
it's all gone to,
Yeah, I don't want to beat the guy for running his tire shop, but now that he's doing other things behind the house, we don't want to make that a hub for illicit activities, we'll put it.
Okay.
Did we find out anything about the two non-operational airplanes that are sitting out there?
I'm waiting on them to get back with me on that to see if that, if those are considered for the planner. So I'll let you know.
I mean, if they're allowed to be there.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to find out. If they are truly junk planes, or they're just parked there. I mean,
One of them doesn't have an engine.
okay.
I think that constitutes junk plane.
Oh, they need to be repaired, and they've been there for a good while.
Okay.
Point that was brought up during the airport board was that Joe got permission from the council 8 or 10 years ago to build a hangar out there.
2014.
Okay, and the only thing thus far is a foundation. I guess from the legal perspective, what action do we need to take here if we want, because the other point was brought up, the council previously said we need to buy everything out there and control all of it. And well, we don't have the budget for that, so if we change direction there, by allowing folks to build more stuff, we're just building more stuff that we then either have to eminent domain on or purchase, increasing our budgetary requirements moving forward.
Yeah, I think, Josh, again, we'll know more when we talk with the planner. If we're going to do something, I think that Joey still has a valid lease out there. and he's been given the approval to build, but things have changed since that time.
Right.
You know, now he's talking to us about leasing other hangar space, so he's just held off on it.
I don't know if at a certain point that expires and.
The lease, it's a 10-year lease, I believe.
Okay.
They're all
Now, I
10
don't know
years.
with Texas Department of Aviation, if he has to, how long that is, and we can find out with our planner to find out in how many years it, you know, that he's not built, because I think they have to give the approval before the city gives the approval.
Gotcha.
For him to build. But we
Okay.
can find out. And then in front of y'all, I know Pete handed out, this is the budget calendar that by law we have to meet. So these are the different days. I know that, Butch, you said that there was one meeting you're not gonna be able to attend, right? I think it's the 5th, you
Every
said?
single day in
Yes.
August.
Right.
This is
The
of
5th.
September.
Yes, of September. But just, this is for y'all to look at. The department heads already have the budget for them to start looking at. Again, we just set this out to let y'all know when the public hearings have to happen, how many days, you know, because we have to go by, whether it's 30 days, 15 days, 10 days, we have to meet those deadlines. And so that's how, it's based on when it's turned into the city secretary from that date for y'all to be able to call for a public hearing, for y'all to have a public hearing. This is the dates that are set. I just wanted to make sure y'all had it so y'all can mark it in y'all's calendar.
Yeah, I'll make that work.
Yeah. And then let me know if there's some, if y'all, because we definitely have to have a quorum.
Yeah.
Definitely have to consult with my wife.
All right, anything else, informational items? Moving on, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're done. Good meeting, everybody.
We have a cake, Debbie's birthday, June 25th, 27th.
Hey, there you go. Congratulations.